Hi, hello. It's finally the season finale of Passive Pixels, a media catch-up podcast. I am killing myself because this time I'm doing a 4-track edit, and spoilers, I don't survive the ending at all. Over here, we have basically a gang war. We've got 2 Texans, we've got 2 Canadians, and I think by the end of it, no one wins, except maybe you guys, because you guys can at least leave. I brought back Poot. I brought back the Canadian Patrick Warburton, Sam, and I have brought back the Moose. I was able to use my Hispanic powers in stereotypical ways to get him over the border. We got Dorian back. Wonderful. All 3 of you just cross talk so no one understands anything you're saying. Go for it.
Hey guys, how's it going? Let's do it.
Okay, fine. That's good enough. I was hoping that it would all just be at the same time and I would just intermix it. No, screw it. I'll do it in the edit where all of you just become a complete cacophony of sound. The entire reason I got everyone here is that today the Green Knight came out, and now I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to get people to talk about it too. Did I want to do a special episode and schedule all that out? No. Am I going to heavily limit how long this conversation goes? Yes. So this is just me wanting to do what I want to do, except still not wanting to edit more. So everyone, we've watched it today, right? Within the last few hours, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm fresh.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and just get the easy stuff out of the way. General impressions. Sam, we'll start with you. I think you were were you the earliest one to watch it?
Yeah, I watched it at like noon today.
How did you feel walking into the theater? First off, I know that you're in Canada. There is no freedom there. It's been completely banned for years. Going back into a theater, how did that feel?
It was blissful. Very blissful. Very happy.
Did you take some holy water too? Did you like shake hands with the person giving you the ticket?
Didn't shake hands, but close enough.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's how all this started. Poot, how have you been during the pandemic? Theaters, how has all this been affecting you with all that?
This is actually the first movie that I've been to since the whole COVID pandemic. I think the last movie that I went to in theater was some blue fast animal movie, which we don't need to name. I was actually racking my brain thinking about that. I'm like, oh my god, that was it. The last thing I saw in a theater was a post-credit scene from a little blue fast animal movie. And so yeah, but no, it was surreal. My theater was, I think there was maybe half a dozen people in there. I walk up to the outdoor box office, no one was there, so I'm like, oh, maybe it really is the end times already. But had to go in and get my QR code scanned because it's 2021 and that's how things work nowadays. But no, it was wonderful. It felt like a second home.
That QR code never works for me. I always have to put in the confirmation order, but because I'm also an old person, I like having my ticket stubs and keeping them. So even though I could have them scan the barcode, I still specifically go to the kiosk to get the ticket printout. Like I'm a stickler.
Yeah, I refer to them as old man tendencies, and I have my own as well at times. But yeah, it was good to be back in a theater, and we'll go into details later, obviously, but it was good to be back in a theater for such a good movie.
Speaking of good to be back, fucking nailing these transitions. Dorian, how are you? Yeah, we heard that you died. We heard that the Mounties stopped you. They stabbed you with just multiple apologies, and I had to call some coyotes to get you across the border. Now that you are over the border and you are safe, you are in a place where we won't mention, or else the Mounties and Trudeau will be after you and knocking on your door. Now that you were able to go into a Freedom Theater, how did that feel? How was that, going back into our church?
It was fantastic. I've actually already been back to the theaters. This is probably the third movie I've seen in theaters now since it's been back open. But it was great.
Obviously, you watched Fast 9 twice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Family, right? No, it was really cool. It's been great to be back in the theaters. It's obviously great to be back on the show. I apologize for my absence last week, but I think it's a great topic to be back on because, yeah, as Poot said, we'll get into it, but this is a great little movie.
All right, perfect. So we all know how we got here now. The Green Knight. I'll just go ahead and kick it off, and then I'll kick it off to you guys as well. The Green Knight. I like it. Yeah, it's a very good movie. I'm kind of sad that it took me figuring out the actual source material and all of that to make me kick up that extra level that I liked it more. But I'm still really positive about it. I'm just glad to see weird shit in theaters again instead of just the big, loud action movies that usually feel like they're reserved for theaters. I'm happy to give A24 money again. You know what? We'll go ahead and go for Sam. How did you feel about The Green Knight going into it, walking out? Take us on the journey.
Well, it was no Old by M. Night Shyamalan, but that's
So
for
not
another day.
masterpiece.
Yeah. No, I I loved it. It was totally my jam. I knew immediately from just opening 5 to 10 minutes. The opening credits, I was like immediately reminded of Summer's opening credits a little, and I was like,
Same.
all right, let's do this. And first 10 minutes in, I was just like, I'm in, and not entirely 100% sure on everything that happens in that movie just yet. It's going to take another watch or so. But just the overall experience, just its tone and everything, it's cool. We need more cool shit like this.
We don't deserve A24. We don't deserve it.
We don't deserve them.
Dorian, tell us, how was this movie for you?
It was really cool. Like our good friend Sam there said, from the opening shot, you kind of just like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's buckle in. This is going to be something cool. And it even starts off a little bit, dare I say, campy almost in the way. You kind of get some funny little moments. And then you kind of... Oh, are we going into spoilers, by the way? Sorry, I should ask that.
We'll keep it vague for now, and then at some point we'll have a cutoff point.
Okay, so that kind of opening scene where you first see the Green Knight and he first appears, kind of everything just goes silent. You're like, okay, now we're getting going. And it's just from that point on, the movie kind of kicks off and goes into a pretty cool pace. Like Sam said, there's definitely going to be a rewatch in my future. I did read a little bit of interpretations of it, and I do think the ending is ambiguous enough that you could, interpret the movie a couple of different ways, which I always do appreciate, especially with types of movies like that. And yeah, just good to see more A24 stuff out there. Please don't get bought by Apple, for the love of God.
Oh, wait, is that a conversation?
Yeah, that's a rumor.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll redeem Apple Plus. Fine. Fucking Apple. Well, the good thing is that Target and PlayStation are giving it to me, so fine. Ugh. Poot, please wash the idea of Apple away from me with your thoughts about The Green Knight.
I finished off an apple earlier today, so it's gone now. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, thank God. Okay, we're a strawberry household here. We got some bananas. We got watermelon.
Okay. Yeah, it was a Honeycrisp too, so it was high quality apple. Yeah, this movie I was very impressed by because it was a little bit different than what I was expecting. It's hard to really go into detail why without spoilers, but yeah, I was very, very impressed by all of the visual storytelling going on and all of the metaphors at play and how that all played out. But yeah, I was very, very impressed. My expectations were met, and they were probably pretty damn high. I know we're all huge fans of A24 films here, and when you see that A24, you're just like, that, okay, this is going to be not only quality more often than not, but it's going to be different. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this movie, especially, and this is probably echoed by everyone here, the last, I don't know what you would say, 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe, is outstanding. And it just really caps off the theme of as I said, the visual storytelling and the metaphors at play. So
all right, perfect. We are under 10 minutes, which means that if anyone clicked into this, congrats. I tricked you into hearing about a good movie for once. Ha, go watch it. Look, we already got the non-spoiler ideas. Go watch it. We're done. Come back here if you liked it. Hell, if you even fucking hated it, come back and then hate listen so you can just be like, these people don't understand. Fucking hated the Green Man. There was no Green Man. All I saw was a tree man. Whatever. Okay, now I feel like we can go into spoilers. Look, I'm just going to start really surface level. I love the fox. The fox is just... I was just beaming the entire time I was staring at this fox.
Yeah. Has anyone seen Lars von Trier's Antichrist?
Yes.
Not the first talking fox I've seen in a movie.
Yeah,
So
this fox was more delightful.
This fox was more helpful and did not try to bite Willem, Dev Patel as it did Willem Dafoe in that movie. But I don't even know where to begin exactly with this movie, because while on face value, you can sum up the plot points, and if a lot of either the conversations that happen between the characters he meets along the way, or a lot of it's just, can't remember who said it now earlier, but just through visual storytelling. and metaphors and stuff, because like the ending in particular was like that flash there that he saw at the very end, this like flash before his eyes before the axe came swinging down. It was like just entirely no dialogue, and I really love
Yep.
that. You could just kind of, I love when films can just show you something and it doesn't need to be explained with anything except for maybe like a facial expression or a visual metaphor or anything like that, because then the filmmaker understands that, oh, my audience isn't stupid. They can look at something and figure it out without having to be spoon-fed.
Yeah, it's also hard to
Mhm.
do. Like you need like a really
Yeah.
good director and a really good actor to pull something like that off, and those two together mesh together so well, and they managed to pull that off at the end.
Mhm.
In my brain, that scene when his girlfriend is giving birth and you have his face shadowed and then just turns away and you just see his side profile completely shadowed, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that you're not saying this. I just need this visual storytelling and I love it.
Mhm.
And then when he just drops the coins and then leaves,
Ugh.
It's brutal.
see, I've never seen a just literally seconds postpartum woman crawl on the floor after her baby. And well, thank you, David Lowery, for putting that image in my head. Now,
Yeah, and I don't.
it's brutal.
And to speak to that scene specifically, now that you mention it, I can literally picture it in my head. I don't know, again, with all the visual storytelling going on, if you notice the money literally lands on the blood stain. So
Yeah.
in a way, it really is
Yeah.
blood money because it's
Yes.
his blood, right?
Yeah.
So we could go into literally dozens and dozens, especially after a rewatch. But I think the sign of why I like this movie so much is because the more I'm thinking about it and the more I'm hearing you guys talk about it, I like it more and more.
Yeah.
Dorian and I think Edwin brought up Dev Patel. He does such a good job of vulnerability in this movie because it really is in a really dark, twisted, kind of atmospheric, ethereal way. Is kind of a coming of age to some degree. Like he goes on this journey and learns a lot of lessons about knighthood and honor and all of these various qualities. And he does such a good job of that kind of vulnerability. And you believe him when he's afraid or when he's being kind or when he's during later on in the movie when he's in this kind of montage sequence when he's a real bastard and asshole.
Yep.
You believe all of that.
Mhm.
And it speaks to his quality as an actor because I really haven't been that exposed to him extensively, but he's never been like straight up bad. But I think this is definitely his favorite performance of mine.
Gonna put him on some radars, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he not Zuko in the last Airbender movie?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Sam, I swear if you bring that shit back up, I'm sending you to the cloud.
I'm sorry, you're my fellow countryman, but you're out of here.
Yes.
Order Texas.
This movie made me forget about that until I saw Old, but
Oh man.
yeah, in any other movie, his character would be more in a traditional sense, this brave and stoic character, where this director, David Lowery, decided to show a very weak, kind of irresponsible, and clearly not someone who, it almost seems he didn't really want to be a knight at times. Like there's just like so many moments in this movie where during the sequence there with the ghost lady at the house, and she asks him a favor, he's like, oh, what do I get in return? And in a more traditional chivalry kind of cliche knight, it would be like, oh, I'll do anything, I'll help out, whoever. He does get something in return, but I like that little line she cracks at him for asking for something. And even the moment when he gets robbed by those bandits there early on in the film, like usually, and I think in like most other situations in another film, typically that scene would be where like, oh, this is where we show how badass the character is with a sword, and then this guy just gets tied up and thrown, loses the axe, his horse gets taken, and that was only like a day into his journey.
So that scene, I'm not gonna lie, it just brought back up the same anger that I felt at the beginning of Majora's Mask, where I was just like, who is this woodland fuck that is screwing with a character that I like and stealing my horse? Like, it just infuriated me, and it doesn't really help that I hate Barry Keoghan already.
Oh,
Like,
what?
I
His
hate him.
face.
Yes,
his
exactly.
face.
every single time I look at his face, I'm just like, you think you are better than everyone in every single room you look in, while at the same time smelling your own farts and not realizing they aren't. Like, I just can't stand him. I look at his face, and every time I see it, it ruins everything for me.
Have
So,
you? Oh, I was gonna say, have you seen Killing of a Sacred Deer?
Yes, I hate him. I
What?
fucking hate
Oh
him.
man.
Yeah. Every time I see his face, I just want to punch him. Like,
He's
honestly.
not. He doesn't have a great face, but I'll give him. I'll give him credit for Killing of a Sacred Deer. He was great in that.
No, he is, but like, it's still like, I just look at it and I'm like, I don't think I can take you seriously. I just look at you and you're, I don't know, store brand Matt Damon. Like, I don't know, like young store brand Matt Damon. I just look at him like, I can't stand your face. So him in that role, I was like, I feel the anger in me. Not only that, the fact that Dev Patel takes the wrong lesson from that, and fucking Barry Keegan's like, hey, can I get something for my kindness? And Dev's like, no. And the fact that he goes to the ghost immediately after and learns the wrong lesson and asks the ghost, oh, what's in it for me? Like, do you not have self-awareness right now? Like, you are being an asshole right now. You just got robbed by the person who asked the same shit.
Yeah, and I was going to say, with Barry Keegan's a great casting too, because if you're just riding your horse down the road and you see him like scavenging for stuff, like, yeah, I'm not gonna trust that guy. Right?
No.
I wouldn't trust him at all.
Because looks like a rat.
Yeah. Because you look at him and you're like, yeah, he's either like a serial killer or he's part of a gang or something, right? And so,
do you know what he does look like?
Mm-hmm.
A pussy ass snitch. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. Well, technically, he was a pussy snitch in this movie. I put this in my little notes too. He was an example of just a really, really good supporting cast that I had no idea was in this movie.
Yep.
With him and Sean Harris and the Game of Thrones people, Ralph Ineson, and I forget the other woman's name from. I think she's in The Witch as well, right?
Yeah, she's Kat's sister. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, from Game of Thrones. Yeah, just a really good supporting cast.
Katie Dickey, sorry.
Yeah, Kate Dickey. Yeah. And then honestly, I think even more so than Ex Machina, this is probably my favorite Alicia Vikander performance. Really, she's playing, I think, 2 or 3 roles in one at times. Throughout this movie. I was just very, very impressed. There's that one scene where she has that monologue inside the house when it's at night, and I think they're kind of sitting there by the fire.
The blood and green speech.
Yeah, it's like this very ominous. The way her face looks, it's very ominous and foreboding. It's very, very effective.
Honestly, you could have put her behind like a crystal ball, and that scene would have worked perfectly.
Yeah. The movie's so well acted by like the main cast and then just the supporting cast. There wasn't one person out of place there. Like, even, I want to punch Barry in the face, but even he was really well cast in that role.
Oh no, he's perfect. I mean, he's an asshole here. He has the face of an asshole. Like, it fits.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just have a tab open for The Green Knight because, of course, we were discussing how A24 just doesn't advertise their movies, truthfully. And I love that right now it's sitting at a perfect 2.5 stars from Google. It's pretty much just mixed between 5s, 4s, 3, 2s, and then half of it is just 1s. And yeah, I just think it's fucking funny seeing that because if somehow anyone actually did listen to me and they left for spoilers, I'm pretty sure at this point, if they're back, they're probably thinking the same thing. So I did want to jump over to the actual explanation as well because I think, that's probably useful. Did you guys already read the thing that Alexis in the Discord had posted?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really helpful, actually, to me.
That was.
I didn't read all of it because I think I'm going to wait for a rewatch to really comprehensively read the whole thing. But I did skim through it and I kind of got the bullet points of what it was going for.
All right. So just because if anyone's listening and someone actually did watch it and someone liked it, I'll go ahead and try and sum it up as much. Of course, The Green Knight is based on a poem of, I'm going to screw up the pronunciation, even though I heard it over and over and over again. Gawain, is that right?
Well, it's funny actually. It's pronounced multiple ways in the movie. I don't know if you noticed that because there is no actual one way to pronounce it. Nobody knows.
Okay, so now here's the thing. I myself am just like broke deaf. Like my brain for some reason just cannot parse out language. So watching this movie with accents and just and no subtitles, like I missed half of the words being said.
Yeah, and that's another reason I want to rewatch is the audio in the theater I saw it in was not ideal. I don't know if they were kind of playing around with like the English or maybe the Gaelic pronunciation or what have you, but I heard it mostly pronounced as Gowan.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think most of us have traditionally said Gawain, which does sound kind of dorky, but
yeah, that was one thing I picked up on. I think you're right. Mostly that's how they pronounce it, but they definitely do pronounce it a couple of different ways in the movie. And I think the director even actually said, I was reading a little interview with him after, that he specifically did that a couple of different times because he didn't even know what the correct pronunciation is. So I thought that was kind of a neat little nod to it.
So Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is the original poem that the movie is based on. In the poem, he has a shield with 5 stars, and apparently for knights are supposed to have 5 virtues that they're supposed to keep as a knight. They have to worry about friendship, generosity, chastity, courtesy, and piety. So each section of the movie is a reflection of this, and personally, before even knowing this, I walked out of the theater and just went, that was some cool shit. It was pretty much, hey, we have a starting point. This is your quest. And then after this, we're just going to have random D&D campaigns. And then we're just going to get to the ending and you're going to have a good time. And I was thinking, okay, cool. I don't think I need anything deeper. If it's just going to have cool shots and it's going to be weird, sure, why not? But it wasn't until I read those 5 things that it made me understand the movie. So let's go ahead and just use that as our guiding tool. Let's go ahead and start with friendship, which apparently is supposed to be the fox. This is going to be really simple. He sees the fox, throws a rock, tells the fox to fuck off. The fox goes, no. And he goes, all right, we're cool now. I mean, this is actually the only one that he passes.
Yeah.
At the end, though, doesn't he swing the axe at the fox?
Yes. He does tell the fox to leave.
Yeah, he kind of does tell the fox to fuck off at the end.
Yeah.
But is that still the fox? Because I kind of thought that the fox was being controlled.
I thought he was being controlled the entire time.
I saw this with my brother today, and he asked me, was the mother his fox?
Yeah, that's what I thought
for a short
too.
time, because she was it was a warning before he went into the chapel, because I think they kind of knew that he's gonna die if he goes in there and fulfills his quest.
So what was going on with the mom?
Yeah, that's actually funny because I just realized we jumped way ahead, but yeah, this whole kind of starts because his mom started this whole thing.
Yeah,
essentially. Did they all just summon the Green Knight for some reason? Like, what was the reason?
Like, I don't know if they wanted to test him or test Arthur's men, but they definitely wanted to test somebody and see who was brave enough to take the challenge. Is my assumption.
I want to say they probably wanted to see. I'm gonna screw up the name again. I had. So Gawain.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Trying to test to see if he was worthy of being king, since he was the only heir to the throne, it seemed.
Yeah, that's my thought too. Because she even in that conversation before he goes, she's like, "You will return," right? So it's like she almost knew this was going to happen, and she wants to test him. So
I mean, good for her for knowing that, even though her son lied to her about not being at the whorehouse and instead was at church overnight. She's like, "No, he's still a good boy. I know he's going to do the right thing at the end."
Mother's love knows no bounds.
I want to eventually read the kind of the source material as much as it is, but it did remind me a little bit of Macbeth. You have these kind of like witchy older women characters, kind of like double toil and trouble type of stuff. But again, I'm not familiar with the source material, but that is what it did call to mind. And the queens, if you remember, the queen kind of got possessed when she opened the letter and started reading it, and that kind of reminded me of the fox. So I don't know if maybe that was the same type of fantasy superpower going on at play there. But I think the fox, like you said, it definitely represents friendship, but I'm not sure what the powers were at play there. But it was interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think it's because of the queen being possessed that it makes me think that the fox was also a possession, because I really do think that the fox was just smart. Like, I really do think that the fox was just like, hey, you're human. You're probably going to give me food. We're friends now. And Dev Patel's like, okay, cool. I guess we're friends. Like, I just, for some reason, like the interpretation where the fox is just a cool guy and not being possessed the entire time to help him out on the quest.
I think, generally speaking, in fables and parables and stuff, foxes are usually associated with being kind of duplicitous and deceitful, right? So can definitely play into, hey, entrusting, in this case, a type of character that is traditionally not trustful. As I said, they're usually characterized by being deceitful creatures. So,
I mean, that works perfectly for the movie because people are supposed to trust knights, but then you see Dev Patel.
yeah, and then there's that scene where I forget exactly how it plays out, but he rescues the fox from Joel Edgerton, who's, oh, by the way, he's also in this movie. He's good.
Oh.
So
As soon as he dropped the fox out of the bag, I smiled again. I was like, "Oh no, he was about to die!"
Yeah, I thought the fox was dead.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I was
I
so
could
sad.
I could see the fox kind of wriggling around in the bag, so I'm like, oh, yeah. I thought he was going to let him go and then like kill him or something with an arrow or a sword, but no, it was good.
I was probably going to maybe drop a tear or two if they killed the fox. Like I really was just really invested in that fox way too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's like spoiler alert. Neither the horse or the fox died, right? It's like a
Oh,
miracle.
thank God.
Thank
That
God.
is a
Well, yeah,
miracle.
like I said before the recording, David Lowery is a vegan, so he was very, very friendly to the animals.
I see a horse on screen. I'm like, oh, when you gonna die?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, from the video games we've played too, right? We just wait around for the horse to die.
The
Just
horse
waiting
I
for
just
it.
accept. Like at this point, like I
Yeah.
saw, like, I still remember season 1 of Game of Thrones when the mountain literally chops a horse's head off.
Yeah.
Like it's only a matter of time. Those things have a ticking clock before they become glue.
Yeah, it's like the wrestling table or the announcers tables in wrestling. You're just waiting for them to destroy.
And also, I meant to say this earlier, but to the 5 points thing, I believe at the center of the round table on the floor is a 5-pointed star.
It is, and
As
there's
well.
blood
Yep.
on it, which that's got to be symbolism.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I think friendship. Can we agree that he passed that one, or do you really think that maybe him telling the fox to fuck off at the end is it? Because like I think that's still a pass. I think like once a fox becomes possessed, it's like, yeah, I don't think that one. I don't think it will break terms and conditions if you tell him to fuck off at that point.
I have to rewatch it, but I honestly think my personal theory is that he fails all. So if I'm sticking
Yeah.
with that, I'd have to say that he would fail friendship as well. But I would have to rewatch it.
Yeah, before I read the interpretation and analysis of like a lot of the film's trials and meaning and all that stuff, I had a very different interpretation of the ending that we'll get to eventually that I originally had, but now I'm a little conflicted and now I need to watch this movie again. It's one of those.
Speaking of watching again, I know I'm probably going to have to watch it because, well, 1, I'm deaf, and 2, I realized that my theater room is finally better than an actual theater. Like, my theater room was better. I was watching this in the normal theater, not Dolby Atmos, so I just kept watching and I was like, huh, sound is a little bit quiet. Like, it was only whenever a door closed that I was like, oh, that sounded good. The room is huge, so the acoustics are being used. This is great. And then everything else, I was like, oh man, this is a really dark picture. I can't really tell what's going on. But if I had it in 4K HDR on my OLED, I'd be able to tell everything. So
And subtitles.
and subtitles. Oh my god. So it's sad to me now that I realize that, yeah, I don't even think I have to watch it at home to know that I've already succeeded. And it almost makes you a little bit sad because it means that no A24 movie is ever going to show up in the Dolby Atmos theater. Like it never is.
Yeah, if Apple
And it
buys
One
just-
it.
day. One day, maybe.
Oh my god.
A24 and their period pieces that need subtitles, right?
Yep.
Between
Oh,
this
yeah.
and The Witch, can you? How many?
The
I
White
heard so
House.
many people. Yeah, in The White House. I heard so many people that were so mad at The Witch. They're like, I didn't understand half what they were saying.
The Witch.
It's so
Oh.
funny.
Lamb is going to have subtitles, so don't worry.
That's good.
Lamb is going to be the next one that we're all going to champion, right?
Yes, I can't wait for that. I'm excited.
I didn't even see the trailer for that. I saw one picture on Twitter of what the film is, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in.
Yeah, it looks great.
Sam, they had a trailer for it at least
It's
before
wild.
my showing, and I was like, "Oh, it's the Lamb movie. Okay, we'll see how much of a meme this is." And by the time I got to the end, I was like, "Oh fuck, you know what? I'm really invested in this Lamb human baby.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens to him." These fucking Norwegians, what are they doing?
It takes a direction you do not expect.
Oh, I'm sold.
Friendship.
You know what? Dorian, you're the only one that answered. Sam, Poot, either one of you, fight it out and tell me where you land.
I'm so stuck. I think I'm just gonna say for now, I don't think he passed any of the trials as we could move forward in this conversation. I'm kind of
I'll get more in depth as my ultimate conclusion, but I think he fails most everything.
I mean, he probably does,
which is part of the story. Yeah, we'll get to it later.
All right. Generosity. Obviously, Barry Keoghan is out here. He's like, hey, man, that's north over there. There's a river. There you go. And then Dev Patel goes, thank you. And, of course, this man has said, hey, both of my brothers are dead. I'm pretty much just out here. I'm a broken person. Can you help me a little bit? And he's like, I said thank you. What more do you need from me? This is just an automatic fail, right? Like, obviously, this is the man gets his horse robbed. He gets all of his shit broken. He cuts his hand out of this. This is just an automatic fail, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. I mean, the only defense I'd give him is after looking at that face for more than 30 seconds, I might want him to pay me some money.
I agree.
So maybe if he tried to use that.
Well, and part of it too is I was thinking about this as that kind of scene and the consequences were playing out. I think he would have been betrayed regardless of how nice he was. So I'm like, okay, I'm not entirely sure what the ultimate lesson was for that.
To me, I think Dev Patel could have probably been less cold towards him.
For sure.
There's just okay. So look, everyone knows that person that could have been the school shooter, so you're just a little extra nicer to them. So whenever they actually show up, they send you a Snapchat saying, "Hey, don't show up tomorrow. You're one of the good ones."
Thanks, Chief.
Exactly. Barry Keoghan is the school shooter.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. That's a great analogy.
Wait, hold on. I just realized you said thanks, Chief. You don't even report it to the cops. You just go, thanks, Chief. I'll stay home and play Halo.
No snitching.
I guess the lesson is for Dev Patel. You can still be friendly and generous to a stranger, but you don't have to necessarily fully trust them, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if I gave money or food to a homeless person and they said, "Hey, go right around the corner over there," the special way around to get around the neighborhood. Oh, okay, sure. I'm going to go blindly do that. You probably wouldn't, right? You're probably going to stick to the path that you're familiar with. So
give them some money, be nice, and then just go the way I was going to go because it's obviously a trap.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's one of those scenes you can kind of just look at in different ways. You also shouldn't just trust people who are stealing stuff off dead bodies, probably either.
Yeah, and don't trust anyone that looks like Barry Keoghan.
Don't trust anyone. DTA.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that might be the lesson here. Be generous, but don't trust.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Be nice, but just be ready to have your sword if anyone tries to fuck you over. You're going to be a knight. You're going to be super trusting, but you still need to have at a moment's notice to make sure that you stay alive.
Agreed.
All right. Chastity.
Ooh. Big fail.
Total failure. Absolute failure. There was cum on screen. Absolute failure.
Big fail.
I cannot emphasize how much I did not need to see that.
I'm not gonna lie, I did because I was under the impression that they were actually fucking. So whenever I saw it in his hand, I was like, "Oh, she's jerking him off." Never mind.
And I guess there's symbolism to using that protective belt. And I think what was the phrasing they said? Anything, I forget what they said exactly. Anything above or below it, he was protected from. So I think there's symbolism there as well. But yeah, that was definitely that was a loaded image, to put it mildly.
I don't remember, mostly because death and all. So there's so much of the actual dialogue that I missed where I just went, "Oh, belt. You got God of War runes inside of it, and it's going to protect you." Okay, that's really all I got. I don't. Do you guys remember anything about that?
He got a similar scarf at the beginning of the film from his mother, did he not?
Yes.
And then that was stolen. And then
it got stolen, and then she made him a new one.
Yeah.
She has maybe the line of the movie here, though. That snarky, "You're not a knight." I thought that was great.
Yeah, I love that. That was perfect.
It was a great line.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of lines in the movie that I was not expecting to get a chuckle out of me or a laugh.
The theater actually got a good laugh out of that one. It was a full house, so they liked that one.
Actually had people.
Yeah, they had full house.
I had 2 other people.
Oh,
dude, there was 2 people in front of me, 2 people behind me, and I think 2 people left after 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the best. I love that.
Well, it's funny when the movie ended. It was full, and there was people right ahead of us, and the guys like, well, that was a waste of fucking time. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
there's that A24 marketing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, this is just a tangent, but it just reminded me of when I went to go watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I watched it, I got out of the theater, I got into an elevator with the same person that was in the theater, and he just looks at me right before we get off. He's like, "The fuck was that?" And I looked at him and I just gave him like a shoulder shrug. Like,
Not the same experience, but when I saw Darren Aronofsky's mother, everyone in my
Oh
theater
my
basically
god,
was
best
gone.
theater experience ever
Yep.
is watching
Yep.
people watching that movie,
Yep.
especially during that one scene. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking
Oh,
about. But that one scene, just watching the look of utter like, what the fuck did I just pay money
I'm
to
surprised
watch?
people stayed that long in my screening.
Same.
Yeah, at the theater I frequented, I would chat up to box office people, and they would say that people would walk out like an hour in Mother and just request a refund immediately, which I love. Like I love that movie. It's so utterly
It's so good.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love Darren
Yeah.
Aronofsky in general. He's a great filmmaker.
Me too.
There
But-
is no subtlety to that movie, and I fucking love
Oh,
it.
that's what makes it
Yes.
And I also just remember having almost a fucking panic attack seeing that house get destroyed. I was just like, oh my god, stop.
Yeah.
Like, I
mean-
just wanted Jennifer Lawrence to pull out a fucking gun and just start shooting people.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that movie, but yeah, it was basically Aronofsky having like an anxiety attack and a fever dream at once. That's basically what it was.
God,
Fun
so
fact:
good.
the movie I've seen the most people walk out of was Team America: World Police. And that's because I swear to God, there was no less than 8 families in that fucking movie, and I'm like, what are you people doing? What are you people doing? And by the way, all it took was everyone has AIDS, and I swear to God, it was like at least 10 families walking out.
Wait,
It's
hold
fantastic.
on. The fucking opening has America. Fuck yeah! You're telling me the parents didn't go, huh? Those puppets just said the naughty word.
That's like a
amazing.
normal America, right? At least in Texas, everyone. That's like when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you say.
I thought that was normal
You say,
American behavior.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
say America, fuck yeah, and thank God. And then you like brush your teeth or something.
I shotgun the floor and then I say, God bless America.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Oh, chastity, right?
Yeah,
Chastity,
Fail,
fucking failure. I don't even have to ask everyone. Failure, utter failure.
Utter failure.
Good for him. Good for him.
Look, at least he came before he got his head chopped off. All right, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
Courtesy, the ghost who is standing near the lake and goes, "Hey, can you pick up my head?" And he's like, "Bro, I don't do shit for free." And she's like, "Are you kidding me? You're supposed to be a knight." And he goes, "Fine, I guess I'll do it." And he grabs the head. He wakes up, and at least his axe is back. He was able to get some of his loot back. The pass, right? This is a pass.
Slight pass, I guess.
It's a slight pass, but then you also like again in reading that post, you got to remember what happens later on with the guy and the host, right?
I still need that explained because even when I read it, I was still confused by it. Then again, I think it's probably me and my dialogue problem.
Well, he basically made a deal that anything you get in this house, you need to give me back, right? And I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of does get a hand job from her, so courtesy would be to give it
Is
back.
that why he kissed him, or?
Yeah, like that's where that
Must-
was going, was my assumption.
Okay, yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay. I kind of wish I heard that part. I'm pretty sure my ears. No, it wasn't even my ears. My brain just went, yeah, that wasn't language. Just throw that out. I was like, move the brain. I'm watching a movie. It was important. Yeah, that's probably it. Jump in, free for all from here. Go. Anything courtesy, or is it just kind of? Are we gonna say that it was a failure?
This one, he's the closest one to passing. He's the closest one to passing this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely the closest one to passing.
Yeah, I mean, considering he got woken up in the middle of the night and then had to jump into a lake, like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the lake. What? Okay.
Or the pond or whatever. Yeah, not really a lake. It was
That
pretty
was
small.
a nice sequence.
That was very
Yes.
the red, like when it goes all red
Yeah.
and he's just kind of swimming. It's such a gorgeous shot.
That red moment made me realize that was the moment I went, oh man, I kind of wish I was watching this at home. Like that was the moment where I was like, this red doesn't really look right, and
We'll let it spoil that.
I'm just lamenting now that theaters have died for me now. At least non-Dolby Atmos theaters. Like if
Yeah.
it's a Dolby Atmos theater, I'm still not matching up to that. And even when I get my 11.2, I'm still not going to match up to it. So that's safe. Courtesy, probably a failure because of the host and getting a hand job. Whoops. Piety, yeah, a failure. Utter failure. Of course, we have the beginning where he is in a whorehouse and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go to church." Which, by the way, there's always that moment in a movie where they try to get you to like the character. That was my moment because I just know growing up never wanting to go to church. So that was the moment where I was like, I like this guy, but utter failure, right?
I'd much rather spend time in the brothel than going to church, so I feel him there. But yeah, it's definitely a failure. He doesn't show a good relationship with God. Like I said, he isn't acting out of goodness or out of a desire to be good. He just believes that he will become a knight because that's his birthright.
Pretty much.
It's weird. I haven't seen a movie in a while that's left me like a little bit like, I don't know if I was like trying to look for different things in this movie or something, and like parts of it, there's just very like surreal moments in it where I just got lost in its visuals, and like the editing in this movie, before I forget to mention this, really great to go along with the cinematography and everything else.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah. And can we give a shout out to the visual effects too? They were so good. Like how the Green Knight himself looked, and then we haven't even talked about the giants that appear. I still don't know if that was a mushroom trip or not, but that was such a cool sequence.
That's a good point. If that was a mushroom trip or not, because
the giants were real.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like to think. Yeah,
but it was so cool. Like it was such a cool scene.
Okay, I think that was all the 5 topics, so we kind of nailed that already. At this point, it's just free for all. I actually really love the way that the movie handles weirdness, because it feels like it just takes a little bit of time where I'm like, okay, we're kind of getting way too grounded, and then that's when the Green Knight shows up, and I'm like, okay, good. We're getting the weird shit reintroduced, because if you don't introduce the weird shit too early on, by the time that they introduce it, it's like, man, this feels like it's out of nowhere. We're already too grounded. Like, they pace that out so well. You got the Green Knight, you got the Ghost, you got probably a way too smart fox, but hey, I like thinking that he's real instead. So I love the way that they pace that out. And when you get to the giants, I was like, oh man, I'm thinking about Drakengard. I probably shouldn't be thinking about this right now, but like just looking at the giants is like, this is fucking cool. Like, I'm just so impressed with the mysticism, because I really thought that was going to be something that as soon as they introduced it, I would be rolling my eyes, but no, David Lowery did fucking great with it.
Cool is a very good word for that movie. There were so many times where I was just like, man, this is a really cool sequence. And I don't know, the movie to me has cult classic written all over it. Like, absolutely does.
As far as like the mysticism, they do ramp up to it a little bit, right? Like with his mother in that little like den of witches when they're doing their rituals and stuff. So they do like show some kind of background. It seems like they basically do like an incantation to create the Green Knight, it seems like, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was my
that's what I got. They do kind of ramp up to it. He doesn't just like, I don't want to say he doesn't just like he doesn't appear out of nowhere, right? I mean, he literally magically appears, but so they do kind of allude to like supernatural forces, which I think is pretty cool when you're gonna lean into the weirdness like that.
A large part of me was thinking that the whole prayer thing, like before the Green Knight shows up, I was thinking, oh, I guess they're just, I don't know, maybe wishing well for the kingdom. I don't know. Like, is this a prayer? And then that's when the Green Knight shows up, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, there we go. There's the weird shit.
Yeah, and then the letter, like I said, it reminded me a little bit of Macbeth, but I think when you guys brought up the giants as well, it reminded me of how well he did restraint in this movie. Like, there isn't really gratuitous violence. Like, even the beheadings are not, by beheading standards, they're not necessarily that bad or gratuitous. There really isn't much other violence in the movie.
There's no nudity either.
Yeah, not really. Yeah. Like the giants, the nudity, it's very restrained, which I really, really respected. You would think like a movie that is at times as weird and really surrealist as this movie is, it would really lean into a lot of really gratuitous and over the top stuff in terms of actual content, but it never does that. And that's just a testament to the general filmmaking, I think, generally.
Yeah.
When I saw in Canada that the movie's only rated 14A, because we have a different rating system than you guys in America.
Yeah.
But when it hit the 14A, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be super gratuitous or over the top. Like, I mean, probably the only thing they got at that, the biggest thing they got at the 14A is probably the jizz, to be honest. So
yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't want to, another kind of turn of phrase, but it kind of came out of nowhere, but
but yeah, I think show's canceled.
Well, I did use I did say the image of it was loaded earlier, so I got two in.
Who just word that?
I'm so glad it's the last episode.
Deal with it. Deal with it.
Fucking 2 puns. Ah,
Oh.
I have to edit this shit too.
just edit the puns out. It's okay.
Now my rant makes no sense if I cut them out.
We edit the rant out too, and we go to now we're all really happy. Hi guys.
Oh, hi! Look, everyone's so happy, and we never had 2 puns that completely flew under the radar.
You see, you just leave that part in, and people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
The ending of this fucking movie, the whole La La Land sequence of Sir Gawain looking at this and going, "Man, I'm pretty sure if I'm dishonorable here, I'm just going to continue being dishonorable." Yeah. Fucking wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but I guess we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah, it did remind me of La La Land. I think I mentioned that earlier in the Discord, with kind of like this alternate life flashing before their eyes. And to kind of go back to what we discussed earlier, I think his journey is he pretty much fails up until that very point, and then if he had failed there, it would have played out with, with the whole bastard child and then the whole uprising, and he loses his head, he gets a return, but he chooses to accept that. And then the Green Knight has that little playful, "Oh, it's time to lose your head," with a little scratch. And then it plays out as him, meeting all of those 5, I guess you can call them chivalrous qualities of being courteous and pious and everything else. So that's the way I generally interpreted it. Again, I'm going to give it a rewatch, but that was my general takeaway, was that he more or less failed up until that very point. The Green Knight kind of slyly recognizes that and says, "Okay, kind of be on your way. Here's a little scratch."
Okay, so now what is the belt supposed to symbolize at this point? Is the belt supposed to just be, okay, sin feels like the right term here. Is the belt supposed to be just the sinning that he does this entire time, or
there are chastity belts, literally, like dating back to historical times. So I mean, that's probably maybe a literal interpretation, but I'm sure there's others. Yeah, and that's just one aspect of why I want to rewatch it. But
for me, I'm not sure if they really, I mean, I'm sure there is some sort of deeper symbolism to it. I'm just not sure it's anything too that as deep as we think. Like, I think it's just literally like with that belt, basically it protects him. And if you go back to the original poem, which I did read a little bit before doing this, basically in the original poem, how it ends is he keeps the belt on, takes the blow, survived. He wears that belt on for the rest of his days to prove he's basically a coward, because if he ever takes the belt off, then his head would fall off as well. So I think it's just a little piece of magic, and kind of when he takes that off, it's him finally passing the final trial and being like, "Okay, I'm ready to become a knight." That's how I read it anyways.
And there was that scene, I guess, in the kind of the alternate future, if you will, where he does remove the belt and his head does fall off. So I guess that is straight out of the source material. Cool.
Exactly, because the second he finally does take it off, in that really cool sequence where he's just tugging it away and it looks like he's pulling it out from right in his chest. But yeah, the second it unravels, the head just falls off. And it's funny, I predicted that earlier. I'm like, "Oh, I bet that's going to happen." But then, of course, it was all in his head. He's imagining all of this.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's not one of the 5 points, I mean, I guess at that point, a knight is usually someone who would put down their life to be able to save others. So is the belt basically him showing, "Hey, I am okay of accepting death at any moment. So, hey, belt is gone. Kill me because I am a knight and I'm a man of my word. I said that I cut your head off. I'd come back here in a year. I'm a man of my word. Take my head now because man of my word." Like, is that the way to go for it, I guess?
I need to watch it again, but that's exactly how I saw it,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the final test, if you will, of just generally being chivalrous and upholding your word. I mean, I guess you can kind of see it as maybe courtesy, because he was granting the Green Knight the same courtesy that the Green Knight extended to him early on. In fact, the word courtesy may have been used literally. I'm not, again, I want to rewatch.
No, I think he did. He was like, "I gave you the courtesy of not without fear," or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, it's like, oh, a shame I have to rewatch it again, but yeah.
Take a shot for every time we say that, by the way.
Sam, how do you feel about that, the interpretation of the belt? Anything?
It's funny because I was thinking back to when his mom gave him the original belt, and I almost saw it as like a mother's love to protect him from any sort of, like, she does seem worried about him going out there because he hasn't experienced any sort of danger. Exactly. He's kind of had this like quiet life inside this safe town where he can whore around, drink, and not have to go to church, and basically, and then
the life, some would say.
Yeah. In some sense, yeah. It's after hearing your guys' interpretations, a lot of it makes more sense now. And plus, I didn't have any background with the poem or anything before seeing this. I just like went in and was like, this is going to be cool, probably, and probably some weird shit along the way because it's A24.
Yep.
And
Got that.
I don't know if you guys saw David Lowery's one of his last films, A Ghost Story.
I
I
really want
to.
I want to. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like The Green Knight more. There's a lot more going for this film, I think, than that one. That film does a lot with a little. And I'd be curious to hear what you guys all think about that movie because it is very, very art house. And like,
Oh,
Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
it once. I need to rewatch it. I think
it's very polarizing.
yeah, the best way to explain it is kind of I'd say like A Ghost Story walk so this movie could run.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely check it out, and I recommend it too. His Peach Dragon movie is far better than it has any right to be, as well. So
that's still so
recommend
weird
all
to
his
think
films.
about. He did that.
He did.
I just watched that the other day before seeing this. I wasn't really crazy about it, but I kind of understand why he made it because he did A Ghost Story like a year later.
Got to get that funding.
You gotta get your name.
Yeah, you
out
got to
there.
get on the
Gotta
map.
get that
Yeah.
paycheck.
Fucking
Yep.
paycheck always.
Yep.
There's one point I wanted to make just before whatever. If we're doing a free for all still for the ending, I think the movie actually played a little bit of a trick on me too, which I really appreciated. I remember like we're about maybe like half an hour into the movie and he's on the quest now, and I'm like, if this movie ends with him going to meet the Green Knight, him kneeling down, his head getting chopped off, and that's the end of the movie, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, I'm not sure if I'd like that.
I
And I
wasn't
feel
gonna
like
be.
and I feel like the
Me
ending kind
neither.
of said fuck you. Like, it's like, you know what, no, it's not going to end like that. Now you're going to see what would happen if he bitches out. You're going to see all the horrible like shit he would do, how dishonorable he is. Yeah, there, now you just wish he would have fucking nailed down and got his head chopped off, didn't you? I was like, sorry, movie. That's honestly how I felt by the end of that. So I really felt that kind of movie smacked me around a bit, and I appreciated it.
Before hearing your guys' interpretations, I had a much more darker take where I thought he just, like, when he got the flash, like the whole sequence there, I thought that was him seeing a vision of like, it is some sort of future he has where he runs away. And I kind of thought he just accepted death there at the very end. Just because I think, in some sense, like, he doesn't seem like a character that really wants much out of life, other than to fool around and not do much. And he almost just kind of accepted death that way, or else he'd just live a more miserable life where he was just a worse person. And then hearing your guys' interpretations now, it makes a little bit more sense with how everything
Glass half full.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty open to
Mhm.
interpretation. He could have got his head chopped off
Yeah.
at the end there. Like, I don't think there's one right or wrong answer, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I really love about these kinds of movies, is that like everyone can really like dissect it one way or another.
This still feels like the happiest A24 movie that they've ever put out, because
Oh, I agree.
most of this is just like, hey, Dev Patel isn't exactly that good of a guy, but then he gets to the end and he learns his lesson about friendship and being a good person, and all of it just does feel like it's a positive thing. Like the Green Knight smiling and being like, there we go, off with your head. I was like, this is actually really happier than it should be.
Yeah, and that's
A
what
great final line.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, and that's part of why when I said earlier it was different than I expected. It's not near as dark and upsetting as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be like really horror
Yeah.
driven and
Mhm.
freaky and really a lot of twisted stuff, but it really wasn't. I mean, it obviously leaned into the weirder aspects, which I appreciated, but yeah, it really wasn't. And there was one scene that struck me near the end. When he goes to visit the Green Knight there at the end, he kind of sitting there, it's meditating and waiting, and there's a part where the Green Knight opens his eyes. I guess it's still nighttime, and he has like such a somber, sad look on his face that struck me for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it was just if you go back and rewatch it, his eyes are just so sad. And then
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I do remember that, where he just opens it up and stares at Dev Patel for just like a
it's
brief moment.
and I don't know what
and
the
then-
meaning is. I'm trying to rack my brain. Maybe he's
Mhm.
thinking that Dev Patel isn't ready to learn his lesson or to meet the challenge or his fate or whatever. But at the very end, he's obviously very playful with the little neck scratch. So it's almost like he had emotional investment in what Gowan was going to do, how he was going to meet this fate. So I thought that really struck me now that I think of it.
I read it so differently, where I was thinking that, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Green Knight was just sleeping this entire time. So I kind of took it as him kind of opening his eyes, looking at him, and just going, is he there? Huh, he is. well, I'm going to kill him, so I'll make him sweat a little bit, and then he just goes back to sleep. Like, I really did still take it as the Green Knight is going to fuck you up. So he's like, you know what? You can still keep a little bit of time until we have to deal with Christmas.
Yeah.
Enjoy shitting your pants for the next 2 hours.
No, that was a day or two because you see
True.
sunset and then you see midnight and you see daytime. Like, nah, man, Dev Patel was sitting there like, yeah, this is my last hour. No, wait, no, this is my last hour. This is my last night. I don't know. This is my last morning.
Yeah, and that
Is it Christmas? Oh, here it is. Now finally.
yeah, and that entire little I assume most of it was a physical set was amazing with how they did the visuals with the different times of day, etc. I mean, among many other beautiful shots in this movie, near the end when they're walking through that kind of yellow haze forest was striking.
Very cool.
Now, when he initially leaves the town, and there's that kind of long shot of him just trotting down the road on his horse in his yellow kind of I forget, I don't know what it is, like a scarf or some kind of shawl or something. Yeah, just very striking.
The use of colors in this movie was never not spectacular to me. Like, he uses them so well, and they just look fantastic.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I want to see kind of a breakdown of the physical versus the digital effects.
Yes,
because it's all so seamless because you can't tell, and that's the sign of good visual effects, right? So
there's only like a couple moments with like, obviously you can probably like look at the giant scene and be like, oh, I could probably see how they did that, but it still looks nice. And same with the when he's leaving the castle, like you could tell like, oh, I could tell probably how they did this, but it still looks good.
I'm not gonna lie. The Giants, I kind of thought that they might have been doing Lord of the Rings shit, where they just had characters that were closer to the camera and made it look like they were giants. Like, I just had, for some reason, that immediate thought when they introduced them.
Yeah, and the Giants weren't really extraordinarily detailed, which really, I'm sure, helped with budget and for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, they still made them look really cool, though.
Yeah, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but the Fox digital effects were a little bit scary, but I forgave it. Like, it's A24.
You insulted the Fox, right? You have two puns and you insult.
Edwin, it wasn't a real trained fox. I'm sorry.
It's fucking real. It's real. Damn it.
Ruby, damn it.
Exactly.
And it's okay. Ghost of Tsushima still exists. There's still foxes.
I just want to save all these foxes, and I swear that if I see a real fox in real life, I'm gonna freak out.
I think a fox would be the death of you because it would just trick you into doing whatever the fuck it wants.
So. Exactly.
Oh, that fox would easily have me kill 3 people, and I would just be like, look at this cute little fucker. He's jumping on the ground like it's a trampoline.
What's that? I should burn the school?
Yes, it will be done, my lord. Okay, we're getting close to an hour, and I don't want to do more of an hour than a 4-track. Any final thoughts before I kick you guys off the show?
I just want to say that introduction scene with the Green Knight, great introduction scene, and I really loved the sound design of the horse stomping in and just how menacing it all was.
It set the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yes, it did. It was perfect. Perfect final shot and final line. God damn, I really love the ending.
The final line is just it's so perfect.
Just hard cut. Yeah.
Just the hard cut, yeah.
Yeah, I love that very little playful bit at the end. It's just great.
Okay. Were those the final words?
Yeah, we're gonna do our scores.
Shit. Oh my god, I forgot about scores. Okay, scores. I literally thought of this score as soon as the scene popped up, and the score is Fox out of 10.
I knew it. I knew
it. The other score is, of course, 824 out of 10. So we got a Fox out of 10, and we got an 824 out of 10. Poot, what is your score?
My score is, this is a wonderful coming-of-age story that is not at all for kids out of 10.
That it sounds like 8th grade. Sam, what is your score?
Jizz scarf out of 10.
Jizz belt.
Great movie. Everyone should see it.
Dorian, any opinions on the jizz scarf? What is your score?
No, I have no opinions on that. I will give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Damn. Okay. All right. Everyone say bye to Sam. I know you could close the tab out, but I'm gonna kick you instead because it's more fun. Bye, Sam.
Bye.
Oh God, he's dead. Oh my God. Oh, the fox got him. Oh my God. Poot, any final words before the fox tells me to take care of you two?
No, it's been a pleasure to make jizz puns in the presence of all of you. And don't edit them out, you coward.
I'm not going to. Wait, what's that, Fox? take him out? Yes, I will do it. It's done, my lord.
Oh, Fox, why would you leave me here?
Oh my! What's that, Fox? Keep the moose? Yes, of course I will. Let's get the list out of the way. Back to a normal episode. I tricked fuckers into listening to a special episode. Look at me. All right, I got Doom Eternal. I got Skyward Sword. I got Twilight Princess. I got For Your Eyes Only, The Spy Who Loved Me, Happy Gilmore, Little Nicky, Game Night, The Living Daylights, Public Enemies, Nier Reincarnation, and I think there's something called The Green Knight here. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm actually going to take that off the list.
Yeah, fuck that movie. My list. Yes, my list. So I've got Shin Megami Tensei 3, Doom Eternal, Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Serial Experiments Lain, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It, Phoenix Wright, Justice for All, Psychonauts, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And also some movie called The Green Knight, which is
what
gone
the
now.
fuck is that movie? Why did everyone watch this shit? Okay, it's garbage. I read the Google reviews. It said that it was horrible. Like, I don't understand why people are watching this shit. It's garbage.
Bro, it's based off a poem. Who wants to watch a fucking poem?
Poems are gay, man.
I ain't gonna watch a fucking poem.
I don't even know how to read, man. What the fuck kind of stupid shit is that? Let's talk about movies. I don't need to fucking read.
Yeah, I want to watch a movie. I don't want to watch a fucking poem. Okay. Movies. Well, let's just get the Weep trial out of the way. Serial Experiments Lain.
All right, I'm in charge now. I'm in charge now.
Yeah. I'm about to shit on it. So
no,
I mean,
guilty. Done.
Okay.
Guilty. I don't need to hear the trial. Guilty.
Fantastic. So Serial Experiments Lain is an anime from Japan from 1998 about a girl who was kind of fucked up.
Is she 14 years old but actually 5,000 years old?
No, not yet. Anyways, I haven't finished it, and honestly, okay. So here's the thing: I was gonna finish it. I subscribed to a 2-week free trial of Funimation, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna watch this because people are suggesting it, and I'm bored. I got through about 8 episodes.
I'm so sorry.
No doubt. I got through. Actually, it is your fault because this all started with people judging you for anime taste. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch something." But anyways, I watched it. So I watched about 8 episodes. I was like, "Okay, I'll finish this." And then I got to the end of my trial. I forgot to cancel. Now I'm on the hook for one more fucking month. So I'm like, "Okay, now I'm actually gonna finish this at some point." Here's the thing with the show: when you think of anime, I think of certain shit. Like I think of giant mecha robots fighting. I think of overindulgent fucking big dialogues of still images because they don't have the fucking budget to do this shit proper. Like I think of certain anime. Yeah, I think of certain tropes. I'm gonna be honest, this show doesn't have those tropes, but that doesn't mean it's good. It's just it's very weird, and maybe I'll watch these last few episodes and everything's gonna click together. But to me, it's just been boring for the most part. Like it's taking so long to go anywhere, and it's 1 season and 13 episodes, and we're already on episode 9, and still nothing's really been explained. The best thing I can say about this show, the only good thing I can say about this show, but I'll give it a but in a minute here, is that it's a pretty timely story. This came out in 1998, and basically the theme of it is internet scary, social media addictive, be careful, which for 1998 is pretty ahead of its time. The problem is we had Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that in 1997 already telling cool stories like that. So I don't even know if I can... Was Metal Gear Solid 1998?
Correct.
Oh, they were all around the fucking same time. That's wild. Okay, anyways. So I give it credit for that. It was telling a pretty cool story way ahead of its time. But other than that, it's just weird, man.
Do you see, here's my opinion on this. Why watch this when Perfect Blue exists?
Yeah, like, exactly.
All right, I have nothing else. Feel free to drive the rest of the Weep trial because I already declared you guilty. So continue to talk. It'll prolong you before we get the Green Knight to chop your head off.
Honestly, I don't have too much more to say than that. I mean, I will say this: I can't stand how anime intros are always the fucking same. It's just like that, do da 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 da, and you kind of get that like fucking that rapid music playing, and like the cutscenes that nothing makes fucking sense. What's going on? It has nothing to do with the show. It doesn't sound like it belongs to the right show. Every anime does this. Even Death Note, which I like the first half of Death Note, it still doesn't really fit the show in my opinion. Even though I love that intro. So I feel like every anime does this shit and it bothers me. Does it here too. The end credits, it does something similar too. I don't like it. I'm gonna finish it because I feel like I'm 8 episodes in, so I might as well fucking finish this to see if it gets any better. Credit for not being regular tropey anime, but again, that doesn't make it good.
As long as the song slaps, it doesn't matter how pointless it is.
True.
If you were showing me Neon Genesis Evangelion and you still had that same song, but instead it was that video of the emo kids dancing underneath a bridge, like I would still be like, yeah, that's a fucking great opening.
That's a good point. To be honest, though, the song isn't very good. So
okay, yeah, then that's gonna completely ruin it.
yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'll send you an intro. You listen to it afterwards, and you tell me if you think the song's any good. But it's just very. It almost reminds me of like an actual band. I can't think of the band's name right now. I'm going to think on that and get back to you and tell you that because it does actually remind me of a specific band, but it's not good.
Because I just feel like this fits in the Weave trial. We're just going to go straight into Nier Reincarnation.
Score.
Oh, scores. Yeah, go for it.
Score. I give it a I'm not finished, but fuck anime out of 10.
Okay, I'm just gonna follow the score and go fuck anime out of 10 and drop a third nuke for good measure out of 10.
Okay, I Nier Reincarnation. Let's go.
All right,
I actually played this too, so this can be on my list.
Oh god, okay. All right. Well, Nier Reincarnation, it is exactly still the same thing that I did the last time, which of course there was a beta, so I played the beta and it is pretty much the exact same thing as the full release. The full release is just these weapon stories. Now, of course, since you seemed confused, and I'm pretty sure other people have no idea what the fuck's going on with Nier and all that, when it comes with Nier, when you upgrade your weapons, there's also stories attached to it. So if your weapon is level 1, there's just a little blurb of a story, and when you fully upgrade your sword or weapon, it gives you basically a full story in 4 parts. Nier Reincarnation is basically just, hey, you're this little character running around this area, and because you're doing this, now we're going to show you these stories of whatever the fuck's going on. Like, I don't really know. It just sort of seems like the game is taking those weapon stories and going, yeah, we're just going to show you them in cutscenes now. Like, that's the only thing I can think of when it comes to this. Dorian, how was your experience with this?
I mean, I played it for about an hour and then uninstalled, honestly.
Same. Except the uninstall part.
Here's this. I'll say the music slaps. So absolutely, like the music slaps. Even coming out of that mobile speaker was like, God, speak to me, Yoko Taro. You have amazing music.
Kenji Okabe, I love that they
Kenji
have
Okabe,
the message at the beginning saying like, this game has beautiful music. Please don't put it on mute.
Yeah, that's like the best part, but it's wasted in a mobile game. Like it really is wasted on a mobile game. And then I got in, and I'm like, okay, let's see. Like I'll run for a minute. They do the nice opening credit scene, and then bam! Here, spin this wheel and watch it add to get your gems. I was like, oh boy, here we fucking go,
dude! Oh my god, I was so confused because they gave me the gems. It said I had 6, and I was like, okay, cool. And it started an ad. I was like, did they just install a fucking pop-up like on my phone? Like, is this broken? Did I tap on the wrong thing? And then no, you have to watch a fucking ad to get a gacha rolls. Like, what is this shit? What is this?
So it's very mobile. I mean, I think it's only for the most hardcore of hardcore Nier fans, which is too bad. Like they could do something cool in the mobile space. Like Yoko Taro definitely. You don't think? I think Yoko Taro could. If Yoko Taro put his mind to it, said we're going to charge $10 for this mobile game and actually made something good, I think he could make something decent. Would it be worth it to do that? Fuck no. Could he do it? Yes.
I don't think he would have it in him because he kind of just likes being kitschy. Like he just probably is doing this because it's like, I know the Japanese people like mobile games. Fuck it, why not?
Oh,
if there's any person, I'll go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you hear the interview with him?
No.
About the launch? Oh my god, I should have linked it to you. But they asked him, they're like, well, what do you think about this game? Like, why did you make this mobile game? And he basically said, I have to link you the response, but it was something along the lines of, I made this game so that Square Enix could make lots of money for gacha rolls.
Yeah.
I love the man. It's like, he's obviously joking, but he's not.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. That's the best part. I've studied this man. He's not joking when he says that. He is being honest to God when he says that shit.
I love it.
Oh my. Like, no, he definitely doesn't realize what makes his game special. So the fact that he's saying that shit is just like, yeah, look, I don't know, man. I just like being able to buy sake. It's look, if you guys want to keep spending $1,000 to get 2B, but in like a shorter skirt, yeah, here you go, man. Fucking pay for my mortgage. So
I love him. Yeah, the more I hear from Yoko Taro and see him in interviews, the more I like him. He's a very likable guy.
if there's anyone who I think could use phones properly, would probably be Kojima. Like, I feel like Kojima would figure out a way to be like, oh, this is the mobile app. Just give it all the fucking permissions, add location,
Oh yeah.
add storage, and at some point you'd be playing this game and it's like, hey, go to your gallery and delete this photo, and you're like, what? Wait, there was never a photo here. What? How the fuck did you do this?
No, I agree. I think especially if he used it in Companion or something. Like if there was PT ever came out in my alternate universe where I want to live, if there was like a PT Companion app, that would be some fucked up shit. Yeah, sorry.
I don't want. No.
I don't mean to bring the mood down. It fits in with Bioshock Infinite a bit, though. Don't worry.
Perfect. All right. Well, Blue Box. I feel like I just have to say it. That's it. We're not saying anything else. That's it.
There's our clickbait.
Okay. Okay. So that's Weave Trial. I don't think there's anything else. Okay. Shall we go into movies?
Are we rating a mobile game?
Oh fuck yeah. Yoko Taro out of 10.
Yeah. Fuck mobile games out of 10.
Yeah, that is a solid score. Okay.
Yeah.
Films. I'm going to book all 3 Bond movies together because at this point that is the way I'm watching these. My brain cannot tell the difference between these. I am completely burnt out on Bond movies.
You've watched a lot.
Oh my god, I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. Okay. I brought up all 3 Wikipedia pages for all 3 of these because I, for the life of me, cannot remember what was going on.
How much were you on your phone? How much were you on your phone during these movies?
Oh, most of it now.
Yeah,
Most of it now.
Yeah.
It's over now. Like I don't think I'm gonna be able to pay attention until I get back to Daniel Craig at this point. Like I'm probably just going to actually pay attention to watch Skyfall, but the rest of these are just all blending in at this point. I'm reading the Wikipedia page summary for Your Eyes Only, and I'm just like, I guess that happened. I guess there was a man named Luigi. There was a casino. Yeah, I don't remember any of this. I'm just going to say that I like Roger Moore. I'm going to give this one a Roger Moore out of 10.
All 3 of them? You're just bundling them all together with that
score? No. I'm just scoring For Your Eyes Only right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it. I don't fucking remember these movies out of 10. So
okay. After that, The Spy Who Loved Me. Oh wait, okay, I remember this one. This was another Roger Moore one, and this was when they had the Legion of Doom coming out of the ocean. I don't know what the fuck was going on in this movie. Wait, Spy Who Loved Me. Okay, Bond was. Oh my god, the only thing I remember is the Legion of Doom thing at the end. So Legion of Doom out of 10.
I don't remember this fucking movie out of 10.
Oh, wait, I forgot. Bond solved the Cold War by fucking a Russian agent. Okay, there we go. That too. I give it a Rocky 4 out of 10. There we go.
Beautiful.
Okay. The Living Daylights. I don't understand how this is the first one I finally got to watch with Timothy Dalton, and I like him. I look at this guy, it's like, ah, man, you got the chin for this. You're definitely a Bond. I like you. Oh wait, I remember this one. He skied down a mountain with a violin case, so that was wild. He definitely doesn't shoot a woman because it's a woman, so he doesn't. Bond might be misogynist because he didn't shoot the woman, so I think that's probably something worth noting. I'm going to give it a gunshot through a violin box, and they never fix it for the entire movie out of 10 because I don't fucking remember anything else. Oh wait, I forgot the Taliban were in this one too, or the Mujahideen or whatever. No, actually, you know what? It's going to be a 9/11 out of 10 then.
Hearing you try to just remember these movies is fucking hilarious. Like, you're just scrambling. I love it. It's beautiful.
It's so ruined now. Oh my god. It's just over and over and over again. It's so great now because my wife, whenever we watch this, is like, oh, Bond's in the hotel room. He's gonna get jumped. Like, oh, it's the opening scene. Gonna have crazy action that doesn't add anything else to the rest of the movie. Oh, we got to have the exposition scene, and he flirts with Moneypenny. Oh, now we're going to go down to the lab with Q, and we're going to see a crazy gadget that would make the movie better if it just showed up. Like there's just we got to get to the end where the woman, if depending on the year range, if it's the 60s or 70s, just completely gets kidnapped and does nothing. But if it's later 70s and closer to 80s, she's going to throw a single punch so people can be like, girl power. Like, the Bond tropes are just
Is your
endless.
wife watching every one of these movies with you?
As much as I am.
God bless her.
She already has to deal with me. Like, oh my god, I'm kind of sad now because I remember these openings being really cool. But if you ask me, like, if you put them right next to each other and you took away the obvious credits that would be dead giveaways, I don't think I could tell which ones are which.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't ever marathon content. Like whether it's a game, whether it's a movie, I will always have filler pieces in between because the shit just gets all smushed together. Like I just could not watch. Like if I was gonna watch all the Bond movies, I do them like once a month, once every couple of months, even. Like I could not do them all at the same time. It would just all mash together for me, and I'd hate it by the end of it.
It was a New Year's resolution, and I want to try and get this all done before the next Bond next Bond movie.
When is that this year, right? Still November or whatever?
Yes, correct. And I need to get that within the first week because I fucking swear that I missed this in Dolby Atmos. I'm just not going to watch it in theaters.
Yeah, it's a good Dolby Atmos movie for sure.
Like, at least that one's big enough that it's a movie I like. That for sure will be in Dolby Atmos. And then I can't fucking wait for like the next week to be replaced by like, fucking Boss Baby 3 or something.
Let's go.
Oh no, dude, that shit happened to me once where I wanted to go see Bohemian Rhapsody, which to be fair, like I know Bohemian Rhapsody sucks, but I went in with expectations of like if you just play Queen with a Dolby Atmos track, I'll be happy. And they did that. So I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that I went to go try and watch it, and then like the very next week, it was 1 week in Dolby Atmos, and then the next week it was the fucking Grinch, and I was like,
You motherfuckers.
it's like, why the Grinch? The Grinch. How many people are out here like, Illumination, I love their films. I need to go pay Dolby Atmos. I need 2,000 speakers to hear Illumination Minions fart jokes. Like, I was fucking infuriated. I drove 45 minutes to go see one, and, the movie gave me exactly what I needed, which was just Queen and fucking Dolby Atmos. What were we talking about? Bond. Oh, yeah, 9/11 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't remember this fucking movie out of 10 for the 3 for 3 trifecta.
Perfect. All right, that was my Bond section. That toss a D for movies. Jesus Christ.
So, well, I mean, I don't have many movies. I guess I'm going to bundle these two together because of the Conjuring movies. I mean, they kind of fit together. So I watched The Conjuring 2 and then The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It. We'll start with The Conjuring 2. First of all, actually, Ed, I'm curious. Have you seen any of these movies?
None of these. Like anything that is after the 2000s, just assume it's a horror movie I haven't watched.
Okay, that's fair. So Conjuring 2. I actually really like The Conjuring 2, and it's mostly because of James Wan. I think James Wan is a very talented director.
Definitely.
And specifically when it comes to horror, he knows the genre very well. He knows how to create a really good atmosphere and a really good sense of dread. And that's what this movie has. It's just very good. It's consistently scary. It's not over the top with the jump scares, but there's definitely enough to keep you on your feet. And then the funny thing about horror is horror more than anything is very subjective in terms of what scares you. Like what scares me won't scare you, won't scare somebody else. It's very different for every single person. I cannot tell you how much Valak terrifies me. Like even just saying the word Valak and making me think of her absolutely sends a cold shiver down my spine. I don't know who came up with that, but whoever came up with that has a twisted mind and they can go fuck themselves. She is horrifying and she makes that movie absolutely nightmare fuel for me. Like I cannot stand her. You've seen Valak, right? Like what she looks like.
Look,
Oh my
I'm
God.
very look, I'm sitting in a dark room. It is close to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I already had to think about Lisa and that other the thing from Sinister, so I don't want to have to do that to myself again.
Oh, Sinister's a good one. I like Sinister. At least you saw that.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell I watched that one.
Fucking Bagul, man. Valak is just awful. Like
fucking bagel.
Bagel. But yeah, no, there's really good. There's another kind of creepy guy called the Crooked Man in this. I mean, just hearing that name, you know he's spooky. But he's spooky. Apparently he's getting his own spin-off movie, which I don't know about that, Chief. But yeah, again, it's just very good creativity by James Wan, and he knows how to just create an atmosphere, keep you on the edge of your seat through the entire thing. So he did this movie and it's so great. And it kind of leads perfectly into The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, because guess what? He did not direct that movie. And guess which movie isn't as good because he didn't direct that movie?
Oh, let me raise my hand.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
One,
Yes.
that one.
That one, you're right. Yay! Full credits.
Gold stars.
Gold star for you. Yeah, no, it's very mid. And it's not a bad movie. It's just very unremarkable, something I would never watch again. And it's too bad because it is a mainline entry. It is technically the third movie in the series. It's a trilogy. It brings back the actor and actress who, by the way, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, they are absolutely fantastic together. They have such good on-screen chemistry together, and they're really great in this movie. And even in the third movie, they're really good in this movie. They just don't get a lot of support. You get Valak in the second movie, this creepy nun, and then you get the Crooked Man, which, I don't even need to describe him to you. He's the fucking Crooked Man. He's creepy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the scariest thing you get is like a 300-pound obese dead guy that runs at them. And I'm not even joking. That's the scariest creature. I'm not joking. There's no other scarier creature than this 300-pound obese dead guy. That's literally it. So it's so disappointing in comparison. In fact, I've even got it in my notes here. The scariest part about that movie, for me personally, again, very subjective, the scariest part about that movie for me is at the very end. So the thing with The Conjuring, and whatever spoilers, but it's a very minor spoiler. At the very end of The Conjuring movie, what they always do is they'll take like a trinket from the movie, like something that caused a possession or something like that, and they add it to their, like, they've got this big room with all of them in it, right? Little memento. So they always add it into the room, right? And so in the second movie, there's basically this painting of Valak that gets made, and it's very scary, but they end up moving that into the room at the end of the second movie. And it shows up in the third movie. And that was literally the scariest part of the entire fucking movie, is the 10 seconds they show that painting at the end. I'm like, oh, fuck, there's Valak. I'm like, that's your scariest part of your movie. So it was just disappointing. It lacked the magic of James Wan. It didn't have that same sense of dread throughout it. Like I said, it wasn't a bad movie. It was well acted. It was perfectly acceptable popcorn junk movie, but very disappointing.
All right. I have nothing to add to two of these because I just really have no interest in them. So I'm just going to go straight to my score of I should really watch Aquaman out of 10.
You should, actually. And it's funny, too, you mentioned that, because there's actually a scene in Aquaman that's, I don't want to say a horror movie, but it's definitely got kind of creepy, scary vibes to it. And you could tell it's like, oh man, here's his Conjuring roots. Like, this is really fucking creepy. So he's just so talented. And I honestly think Aquaman's a lot of fun. Not a lot of people love it, but if you just go in kind of expecting a goofy superhero movie, I think you get something out of it. It's a good movie.
Sam Raimi approves.
Okay. The Conjuring 2.
He still gave you two good movies. Okay?
That's true.
And Evil Dead.
Yes, God, and Drag Me to Hell, which I love. Have you seen Drag Me to Hell?
No, I think that was one where, look, I was right there with you in hating Spider-Man 3, so I was like, Sam Raimi? You mean the Spider-Man guy? Nah. Which, by the way, I was young, I was stupid, I had no idea what Evil Dead was.
No, that's totally fair. Drag Me to Hell is really good, though. But Conjuring 2, I would probably give that a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a fantastic horror movie for me. Devil Made Me Do It be like a 2.5 out of 5. Like, it's fine, but definitely not something I would recommend.
Fair enough. All right, back to me for movies. Happy Gilmore. Fuck, man. Happy Gilmore's just really good.
Price is wrong, bitch.
Oh my God. I was so shocked by the last per minute, like in the first half of this movie. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm bundling Happy Gilmore and Little Nicky because.
Wait, have you seen Happy Gilmore before? Or was this your first time?
No. I've seen it. It's just that it's something that I hadn't watched in a while. And, whenever cable was actually relevant, Happy Gilmore was just always on. So you would catch kind of like pieces here, pieces there. Yeah. I actually finally sat down to watch it a couple of years ago, but I honestly didn't remember it. My wife is just completely ignorant of like most Adam Sandler movies, so that gives me a great excuse to go back and watch some of them. And Happy Gilmore, I think, was a gap for her. So I was like, oh, okay, perfect. I don't know what to watch right now. Fuck it, Happy Gilmore. And oh my God, like the thing that now I'm thinking of that has probably the funniest laugh for me is whenever he goes to drop off his grandma at the nursing home and the old lady jumps on his car, is like, get me out of here, and he fucking dumps food on the cars, like, take this, go. I was laughing for like a solid 2 minutes after that. I was dying. The whole idea of Ben Stiller just using these old ladies for slave labor. Oh my god.
That mustache,
Shooter?
man.
Oh, Shooter McGavin
Oh
is
my
a
god.
legend. Every
Yep.
single thing that man says, you're just like, "You are the worst person alive. I love you."
He's so great.
The gigantic man who was his boss, who Happy put a nail in his head and the nail is just still there. Oh my god. Shooter, I'll see ya. Oh, everything about this movie is just so good.
Yeah.
Chubbs, just every single time that this man opens his mouth, you're just like, what are you gonna say this time, old man? What are you gonna say this time? Which is the entire reason I went to Little Nicky, which Little Nicky is bad. I really like it. I, for some reason, just have a soft spot for Little Nicky. I was just watching it and I was like, I think it's nice to see that Adam Sandler did something that was creative because nowadays we don't have that. We have, hey, Sony Pictures, hey, Netflix, can you hand me $200 million so I can go on vacation and occasionally record myself? And they go, absolutely, you want to sign a 7-picture deal, let's go ahead and do that, let's finalize this. So the fact that this one actually had the plot of, hey, the devil has 3 sons, and then he's like, hey, you guys want a promotion? And he's basically doing Succession but in hell, and then he goes, nah, fuck you guys, I'm going to stay on. 2 of them leave, and Adam Sandler, I don't know what the hell is going on with that accent, but occasionally it would make me laugh.
Oh,
So,
it's
like,
so bad.
it's so bad, but, like, it's also hilarious to think that a shovel hit him in the face, so, like, that's why he's fucked up. Like, it's so stupid that, like, it gets to that level of, like, this is so annoying, but that reasoning is so dumb that, like, fine, you get it.
Oh my god. Plus, literally has fucking Rodney Dangerfield as Satan.
Oh!
I don't
Oh
need
my
anything more out
god.
of a movie. I'm sorry. You're right. This movie is bad, but it's so fucking good. Rodney
No.
Dangerfield as Satan.
No, I can't ever say that this movie is good. It's super enjoyable. Like, it has some moments where I'm like, yeah, that was actually funny. Almost anything that Rodney Dangerfield says is golden.
Oh my
I
god. He's just
In the 2 movies now that I've seen him in, this man does not miss whatsoever. It's incredible. Oh, wait, I'm just jumping back and forth between these 2 because I'm scatterbrained now. But Happy Gilmore just fucking Adam Sandler punching everyone. Like, my
Oh, yeah.
wife out loud said, it's like, do people not get sued for assault in this universe? Like,
not in the Adam Sandler verse.
oh my god, Adam Sandler is fine. I'm pretty sure if a little girl tripped him, he'd probably start beating that girl to death. Like, it's comedic.
Oh, it's so great. Jumping back to Little Nicky for a second, though. I'm actually looking at the IMDb page for Adam Sandler right now. Little Nicky is the last comedy movie I liked of Adam Sandler. That was in the year 2000, so it's been 21 years since I have seen a comedy. I'm going to very specifically say that comedy movie that I've enjoyed of Adam Sandler's. I didn't like Mr. Deeds. I didn't like Click. I didn't like 50 First Dates. I did not like any of those movies. So it's been so long for me.
All right, let me see.
Oh, Jack and Jill. Sorry, I forgot about Jack and Jill.
Oh, masterpiece of a film. Criterion Collection, Jack and Jill, please. How far back is it for me? You know what? I'm going to lightly go to bat for Click.
Okay.
I tried and Click.
Yeah, I mean, there was effort. I just didn't find it funny, but there is effort in that movie, at least. I'll give you that.
Okay, wait, yeah, you're right. We're thinking funny. So, yeah, Click is out. And The Longest Yard isn't really funny, so out.
So you don't mess with Zohan.
I forgot he did Spanglish. No, Spanglish isn't funny, though. Is 50 First Dates funny?
But that's the thing. So if you take a movie like 50 First Dates and then you take The Wedding Singer is legitimately funny and sweet. 50 First Dates, I think, is sweet. It's just not very funny to me, anyways. I didn't find it funny.
Anger Management in 2003.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Anger Management wasn't bad. Yeah, I'll accept that. I actually forgot about that movie. That's an acceptable answer. But it's my point. My point still stands. It's been a long fucking
18
time.
years.
It's been a long fucking time. Is my point.
There are people who can now vote the last time that Adam Sandler was funny.
He's a better dramatic actor than he is comedy now.
Yes,
he's got fucking Punch. He's got Punch Drunk Love, which is fucking fantastic, and Uncut Gems, which was so great.
Dude, what I love is that when they announced that Uncut Gems was going to be in the Criterion Collection, I created a meme where it was the T-pose meme, and I put Adam Sandler's face with the copy of Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems underneath his arms, and at the bottom is Leo crying.
Oh, I love it. I think my favorite thing of that whole part of Uncut Gems was him basically saying, look, if I don't get an Oscar nomination for this, I'm going to go back to making shitty comedy movies because fuck you all. And then not
only that, he said that he was going to make the worst one yet, and I still live in fear of when it happens.
Oh man, I love him. Like I feel so bad for the guy, man. And I mean, to be fair, it was really stacked that year for Best Actor. There was a lot of fucking good performances, but Jesus Christ, man, he was so good in Uncut Gems. I can't say enough good things about that movie. I love that.
I still am worried about the day it happens because I don't think we've hit the day of reckoning, have we?
No, I'm very scared. Fucking 50 pizzas in fucking 50 days, man. I'm worried about that shit.
Maybe that's why the pandemic is still going. Adam Sandler's like, no, I have to do it big. What Papa John's did that shit? Oh my god, I have to outdo him. You know what? Delta. Adam Delta Sandler. Delta is his middle name. There we go. That's what it is. Done. Yeah. We solved it.
And we've been demonetized and canceled for COVID. Fantastic.
Oh, while we're at it, then the vax is a lie. You're getting microchipped. It's just a ploy to get you to buy Xbox One X's since there's no games on it. You know.
Donald Trump.
Fuck it. Okay. Lizard people. What other things can we say that get demonetized?
Oh, no, I'm not gonna go there. Let's move because I had some shit, but we're not gonna go there.
Christian, there we go. Good enough. Okay.
I actually don't know anything about that, but no,
stay ignorant.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Please stay ignorant. Oh my god! Now that I said it out loud, everyone stay ignorant. Please don't.
Yeah,
please don't.
I'm saying ignorant.
Okay, good. So yeah.
Speaking of ignorant, little Nicky.
I fucking hate the dog. I hate the dog.
Fuck that dog. That dog's annoying as shit.
He never got me to laugh.
Somehow the dog has a more annoying voice than little Nicky. Like I don't get that.
Now what you're going to do is that you're going to put the product placement in your mouth and chew.
Fuck me.
I'm not gonna lie though, they did have a couple of moments where the chicken was actually funny. When the bucket of chicken at the end sprouts legs and runs away, I was like, what?
That was so random. I loved it.
Oh my god. The fact that they get to the end and they just like he's like, release the good, and it's just a baby, and then fucking Adrian comes out and makes it into a little person and starts beating the shit out of a woman. I was like, oh my god. The whole idea of the two of them just continuously corrupting things was hilarious to me. Ozzy Osbourne showing up like a fucking psychopath to bite a bat.
Oh my god.
Little Nicky just has so many things where I'm like, this is so dumb. Stop it. And then it goes even dumber, and I'm like, there we go. That's what I like.
And you catch yourself laughing.
I never felt bad though. That's the thing. Every single time that I laughed, I went, yeah. That's a solid one. I mean, the idea that an angel fell in love with his dad and they fucked, and then that's little Nicky, like that. Oh my god, no! It just reminded me now of the portrait that they have. Is like, I used to look great, then I got hit with a shovel. Now I look like that, and they go over to the portrait, and he just looks so sad.
I know. That's so good.
Oh, this movie's so dumb. It's so dumb, but damn it, it lands enough jokes where I'm like, yeah, you kind of did it. Also, why is Quentin Tarantino a psychopath in this one?
Yeah, you know what? I was reading an interesting article about that because somebody mentioned it the other day. I'm like, why the fuck was he in this movie? And they've never really said, but they did an interview with Uma Thurman. And I guess Uma Thurman basically said, look, Tarantino's such a fan of fucking film that they could basically say, hey, I'm making this fucking $5 movie, but you'll have like a walk-on part. You want in? And Tarantino would be like, yeah, I'm in. So he just fucking loves the craft of cinema so much. He's basically like Nicolas Cage. He'll just say fucking yes to anything.
Except he's probably not in debt and doesn't actually need to say yes.
Correct.
Now, Little Nicky. What else? Oh, the fucking pineapple in Hitler's ass every single
Oh my
time.
god.
Oh,
So good.
it's so lovely. Every single time that I see Hitler dressed up as a French maid, it's never not gonna make me laugh. And when they make him choose the pineapple that's going to go up his ass, it's gold. It's gold.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much in this movie where I'm like, that's a funny idea. Like, that's just oh my god. The two brothers, whenever they go up into Earth and they just start telling everyone to sin, like no one notices that they're standing on fucking grills or things like to
Nope.
keep warm. Like no one pays attention to that. Just oh, the our Pope is telling us to go and just start fucking each other and debauchery and all this. The mayor comes out and is also doing the same thing. Incredible. All this is just
Oh,
lovely.
and it's funny you mentioned earlier about how Happy Gilmore being always on TV. I remember Little Nicky always being on TV growing up. TBS, we got TBS
Yeah.
up here in Canada, and I
Mm.
remember would always be on there, and I'd always catch little bits and pieces of it because I like the movies. So
Wait, hold on. Oh my god, I forgot. We have Henry Winkler. Oh my god, yeah, we love him. Covered in bees. Like, oh.
so evil, so evil. I
Oh
love
no,
it.
what I love is at the end when they're like, "Oh, Nikki, if we kill you, you're just gonna go to heaven. You're still a good person." Like, fuck, I need to sin. Sorry, Henry Winkler, and he just gives like this little shrug. His face is completely covered in bee stings. He's just like, "No."
It's a great movie.
Oh my god, Little Nicky's a piece of shit, but it's like
Oh, it's a piece of shit, but it's a
it
fun piece of
lands
shit.
enough jokes. I
It's
don't
it's
want to talk about the negative ones.
it's my piece of shit. I like it. Although I'll tell you this, the biggest thing I got from all this is that you need to watch more fucking Rodney Dangerfield content. You said you only watched 2 movies with him in it?
Yeah, that's it.
My friend, there's a whole world of Rodney Dangerfield out there waiting for you. Good shit too.
No, I know. Trust me. He's definitely on my list now that it's twice that this man doesn't miss. So I'm pretty sure that if I watch Back to School, that might be a good starting point, right?
Back to School is fantastic. Great movie to watch. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Happy Gilmore. Anything else?
Best cameo of all time.
Bob Barker's just a joy in this. Like, I oh no, hold on. I could talk about it, or instead I can just go jackass. So
That sums it up great.
that man is so perfect. Wait, oh, I forgot. His grandma loses the house because she fucking owes almost 300 grand from the IRS. Like, what? Like, I love to think that she was intentionally doing it. Like, I'm like, she's like a really hardcore libertarian's like, no, fuck the government. Like, I'm not gonna spend all that money on taxes. Fuck you guys. What are you gonna do? Steal my house? Oh god, they stole my house. Happy. Oh my god, please.
It's so good.
Oh, this movie. I think I got everything I got out of these. You?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Let's move on to the scores.
All right. Happy Gilmore. I give it. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast out of 10.
Great score. I would give Happy Gilmore 3.5 stars out of 5.
Little Nicky, I'm gonna give it a release the good out of 10.
Little Nicky, I'd probably give it a 2.5 out of 5.
A deep 2.
It's complete side note, but you've seen Billy Madison, right?
Yes, of course,
Okay, good.
Oh my god, Billy
Okay.
Madison is just so fucking good.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
Adam
Just
Sandler
making
didn't
sure.
miss for like a good 5 or 6 years.
Oh my god, absolutely. Even his time on Saturday Night Live was hilarious. But
Okay, that's what I got for movies. Wait, is that? Yeah, whatever. Next, go for you.
I'm actually done for movies. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
all
done.
right. Rolling up. Let's see my list. Game night. Fucking game night. Oh man, game night is just still really funny. I love just the way that they wrote themselves into this movie. The whole conceit that it's a game night. But wait, have you seen Game Night or no?
I have when it first came out, so I'm a little bit murky on details, but I do remember liking it. But yeah,
Same. Okay. I actually really forgot that this movie is just scripted so well. I remember for some reason this movie taking a long time before they realized that all of it was real. So just rewatching the movie, just seeing the way that they structure everything, where almost every single piece of the story ends up slotting way too perfectly into the conceit that they have of the game night. just is great. Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman just bounce off of each other so well. They really anchor most of this movie. And Rachel McAdams, every time I see her, I for some reason just think of her more as rom-com lead, even though I
Mhm.
know that's not true. I think of Mean Girls. Uh, So I have like this image of her, and then game night just goes, no, 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 but this girl has some chops. And I the line that always kills me is around the end of the movie when a dude just dies in front of her, and she goes, "Yes! Oh no, he died!" Like, oh my god, that line for some reason kills me, and I think it's because she says it so genuinely, like, just, "Oh, I shouldn't be celebrating, someone just died. Oh well." Like, oh, the fact that they have Michael C wait, is it Michael C. Hall?
It is
Yeah,
Michael C. Hall. Yeah.
Michael C. Hall at the end just showing up. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, even watching it in theaters and then watching it here is like, "You got the Dexter guy for" I mean, it makes sense, but really?
Do you know what he's credited as in the movie?
N uh, Probably the Bulgarian?
Yeah, just the Bulgarian.
Oh my god. Just this movie is so at least contrasting with Happy Gilmore and Little Nicky, which are like stupid, but like they
Yeah,
understand they're stupid, so they go for it.
yeah.
Game Night is
Smart.
so brilliantly stupid where you have the cop who honestly might be autistic. Like this man cannot read social cues at all. Or maybe he's playing it up. Like he's either playing it up with the fact that he's just always like, I see you guys grabbing 3 bags of Tostitos. I too enjoy soirees and getting together with friends. Me and my
Oh.
little canine too enjoy meeting up with people. I see you got 3 bags of chips and you say no one's coming over. Like it's so good. Just Jesse Plemons the entire time. This probably was like his first thing that he showed up in after Game of Thrones. So not Game of Thrones,
Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
So just seeing him like this, where he is just such a fucking dork, even though he still has like that horrendous side to him. It's just gold. I love it so much.
You never saw Fargo, did you? The TV show.
No, the problem
Okay.
is that like I remember watching the movie Fargo, and I think when I watched it, my mind wasn't ready for such Kino like that, so I didn't really think of it too positively. So I
Fair.
think I need to go back to most of the
Yes.
movies that I watched for the Coen brothers.
Yeah, I would give Fargo another chance. It's pretty great. But the only reason I mentioned that is because he technically did Fargo before Game Night too. So he had a couple of really good hit TV shows, and he showed up in this movie. So it was pretty cool to see him do well.
So, yeah, I'm always happy that Game Night exists because it is right next to Booksmart in, oh crap, they actually made a couple of comedies that were funny in the late 2010s because it's been dire. So,
Yeah, not a ton of them. Not a ton of them. Good cast too, like you said. Like I love Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman's just one of my favorite comedic actors going. Rachel McAdams, great. I don't think we talked about Kyle Chandler yet, but I'm a big Kyle Chandler fan. Really great in Friday Night Lights, which is another TV show I enjoyed. Really good cast.
I want to see Rachel McAdams in more things. Like, I just
Yeah,
really loved how bubbly she was. Where I'm like, you're just a nice presence to be around. And I'm just so used to think of you as Regina George that to see you in a positive light, it's like, oh, this is a nice change of pace. I like this.
yeah. She doesn't do a lot of work. She's pretty picky and choosy in what she does. And unfortunately, one of the things I really remember her from was True Detective season 2. So
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
no.
Oh
Like,
no.
is I'm
So
looking at her filmography. The
there's not a
only other
lot.
comedy that I see is Wedding Crashers, but like she's not even funny in that
No.
one. Like she's
Yeah.
just the girl to chase.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. She
that's
should do more
disappointing.
comedies. She's funny.
Oh, of course. I want her to have a Channing Tatum run of comedies where you're like, "Oh my god, you actually have comedic timing. Good for you."
I'm with you there.
All right, game night. I think that's all I got. Oh, wait, no, I want to mention one more thing before I get to the score. I love the establishing shots that, however they shot it, it always makes it look like the entire shot is a game piece. I love it so much every single time. I'm gonna give Game Night a comedies can still be made even with the PC crowd yelling out of 10.
Yeah, definitely a good solid 3.5 stars out of 5 for me, and I also agree with your review score too. It's a poignant point.
Perfect. All right. Then moving on to my next movie, and I think it's my last movie because I don't know what the fuck the Green Knight is. I don't know who wrote that in here, and I think, yeah, disgusting. Public Enemies. Uh, I think Public Enemies is bad. I don't like it, and I think it's bad. Like this one did not land for me at all. I watched it with my best friend, and I knew this movie was in trouble when he started talking to me around like 20 minutes in, and I didn't tell him to shut up. And at that point, he started telling me like, "Hey, did you watch this crazy one shot that someone did in a bowling alley?" I was like, "No, I have not. Do you want to pause the movie and show me?" And we paused it, and then we did that. And then at that point, I was like, "Oh, you
Oh,
think
no.
that's a one shot?" And then I pulled out my Children of Men Blu-ray that I still need to sell, and I put it and I showed him the one shot from Children of Men in the car, and I was like, "That's a one shot." And it wasn't until we finished that scene that I realized, oh shit. I think that scene might be the best thing that we watched tonight. We're really fucked. Public Enemies, also directed by Michael Mann, and I've been on a kick for him because Collateral and Heat. And look, there's at least one thing that I require from Michael Mann, and it's that I need your gunshots to sound like real gunshots. This movie was so inconsistent of when it wanted gunshots to sound cool, and it was pissing me off because at some point there's a shootout near a cabin, and me and my best friend, like, I told him my issue, and he started listening for it too. Like, we started listening, I was like, oh, and when they're inside the gunshots sound weak. Oh, when they're outside it sounds good for some reason, even though if you were inside the sound would echo off a wall, so it sound even more powerful. Why is it that right now this single gunshot and then the very next bullet that happens after are completely different in the amount of impact? There's just so many inconsistencies in the gunshot sounds that it was pissing me off because they would be in the middle of the street with a shotgun blast. I'm like, that sounds crunchy. And then right afterwards, they'll be inside a bank shooting a handgun. And I'm like, why does this sound so quiet? Why do you not sound right? And once I started realizing the sound, everything else just went downhill. Like Johnny Depp and Christian Bale and Marion Cotillard, all three of them are just doing great work. They're acting their asses off. I'm so happy about all three of them, but the directing just really isn't helping them. The cinematography occasionally has ideas. Where I'm like, that's a cool idea. I'm still really annoyed by the fact that Michael Mann Collateral is just a good movie, so it never bothered me that he had what looked like handheld camera, but like not even handheld camera, like actual film cameras. It looks like he literally got a fucking Sony camera from 2004 at a Best Buy and was like, I'm going to use this for gritty look. And I'm like, this doesn't look good. And at least Collateral, since that movie feels grimy, it gets away with it. Public Enemies, by the fact that it's supposed to be in the 1930s, seeing a grimy look in a camera doesn't feel right because it feels like you're on a set, and it's so weird because the sets in this movie are so pretty, but when they shoot him in the way that they do, where he shoots it documentary style occasionally, it bothers me because I'm like, this doesn't look like a movie now. It looks like reenactments in a History Channel thing about his name, ah, whatever. The person that Johnny Depp is playing. This movie was just so weird to me, and I don't understand what it was. It's probably a really straightforward story, but I don't understand why I couldn't follow it. And like I had subtitles. My best friend and I were making fun of it, but like we were still paying attention. And for some reason, it just felt like this movie didn't ever want to keep it straight, where it's like, oh well, John Dillinger, oh, that's the name of the character. John Dillinger is robbing people because I don't understand who John Dillinger is as a person. I just understood that he was charismatic and that Johnny Depp is acting really good here and that Marion Cotillard is hot. Like it's weird because like she was hot in this movie and it bothered me because I'm like, I've seen you before. why are you so much more attractive here? And I think maybe I just have a thing for 20s and 30s and 40s women's fashion. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Because like every time I saw her haircut and eyes, I'm like, stop it. You're distracting me. And just, I don't understand what this movie was. I really don't. I kind of thought this might have been the last agreed upon movie that Michael Mann had that people went, yeah, that was good. But I'm thinking at this point, no, it might have actually been Collateral, the last movie, because I don't think people like Miami Vice. So yeah, Collateral might have been the last time that Michael Mann landed, and that makes me sad. Dorian, did you ever watch Public Enemies? Anything?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So it's never a good sign for a movie when I'm like, Public Enemies, did I see that movie? I click on it. I'm like, oh yeah, I did see that movie. What do I remember from that movie? Nothing. So yeah, that's never a good sign. I definitely did see this movie. It was just so utterly forgettable to me. I'm not a big Johnny Depp fan to begin with. I think he's a great actor. I don't know. There's just something I don't love about him in certain roles. I love Christian Bale. I love Mariana Coulter. I think she's fantastic. She's super hot too, like you said. So
I don't
like
understand what it is. Like in The Dark Knight Rises, I'm like, yeah, you're pretty. I get it. And then that's it. Oh, Inception. Yeah, you're pretty. That's it. This movie, I just like every time she popped up, I'm like, stop it. Stop it. My wife has already ruined me that if she ever leaves me, I'm going to have to go find another girl with colored eyes. And just seeing her, I'm like, stop it. Stop it right now. Like, I don't understand what it is. I actually really do think it's a haircut or something.
Yeah, probably the haircut. It's very nice. But yeah, no, it's utterly forgettable. And it's weird too, because you're actually right. Like most people seem to really like this movie. Like it's pretty popular online. I mean, it's a 7.0 on IMDb, which is pretty good. Most people that I've heard have had lots of positive things to say about it. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen Collateral, so I need to see Collateral.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen Collateral.
Oh,
I've heard
my.
very good things.
That,
But as a huge fan of Heat and his other work, definitely this one did not hit for me.
Dorian, do you remember when Sam hadn't watched Heat?
Yes.
This is on that same level for me. Like,
well, by the next Passive Pixels, I will watch Collateral. That is a promise. If it's that good, I will watch it.
Collateral. Collateral and Heat are just two different sides of the coin for me. Where Michael Mann, if he could have Snyder's filmography, but if he still made Heat and Collateral, I would still be like instant classic. Put that man in the Hall of Fame. Man did everything he needed to do. Like that's how good both of those movies are. Like I put them like almost 1A and 1B because I would not be able to choose between the two of them.
Well, I feel the same way about Heat that you do, so I have a feeling I'd like Collateral then too. So
like oh my god, you tell me when you watch Collateral and I'll fucking do it again. Like I'm always itching.
I'll have to see if it's on. I'm sure it's on something, Amazon Prime, Netflix, or something. I'll look it up, but then I'll let you know. I'm down to watch it. Like I said, I love Heat. So, but this movie was not it for me. I definitely remember watching it. It's just it never stuck with me. I don't know why it's so popular. I mean, it's good acting performances, like you said. It's well acted. But I mean, that's the best thing I can say for the movie.
I think that it might be screenplay problems where
I agree.
Looking at this, it's like the way that you just structured this movie and the way that you edit scenes together, I don't understand why I'm so confused about a movie called Public Enemies. Like it just sounds like it would be, hey, this guy's robbing things and we're hunting him down, but I don't understand what it is in the editing where it just seems like we go from scenes to scene. Oh, there's a moment where they're planning a heist and then we cut immediately to the day of the heist. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, okay, I know that you can do that, but the way that they edit it is just so wrong because there's almost no lead up going to it. Like it's literally, hey, we got a new job. Like, okay, cool. And then it just cuts to them walking into the bank. And I was like, why? I'll give it that compliment though. Every single time that they rob a bank, it was just supremely cool. Like effortlessly cool. Every single robbery.
I mean, he knows how to do heist shit. We know
exactly.
That. So
exactly.
Like that is Michael Mann's specialty.
I mean, it's no gun battle through LA, but then again, how many things are? So it's all still stylish like that, but man, it just feels like the actual structure of this movie is wrong. Pretty much, I don't think I was emotionally invested until some absolute fucking asshole started beating up on Marion Cotillard, and I
Yeah.
was livid. I felt boiling in me. Like my best friend was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "No, I am not." Because like she was getting bruised up, like they were
What's a
beating
beating?
her ass. Oh, absolutely. Like it was cops too, so like they were interrogating her. I'm like, I need you to fuck right off now. Like if I could find this actor, I'd punch him in the face. Like I just one quick punch, and I would just look at him and go, "Public Enemies, Marion Cotillard," and I feel like he'd look up and go, "I understand."
Yeah, take your shot. You've earned
Even when I'm thinking about it now, I'm just angry. You
it.
see, this is the problem with green eyes, okay? Green eyes have ruined my life. I see that and I'm like, hot girl, that's my wife. Don't you fucking hit hot girl with green eyes. Ah!
uh, yeah, that would be a tough. I mean, there are worse things in the world.
So, Public Enemies, what score do I want to give it? You know what? I'm just gonna give it a groan out of 10. I'm struggling to think of a funny answer. I'm just gonna give it a groan out of 10.
Well, I was going to say you should give it a watch Heat or Collateral instead out of 10.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. We're gonna change it. Watch Collateral at 10. Watch
There
Collateral.
you
No, hold on. No, damn it. We're gonna get the right score. Collateral is the last good movie that Michael Mann did out of 10. There we go.
Beautiful. This would be like a 1.5 out of 5 for me.
Fair enough. All right. I think that's all we got for movies.
Beauty. I'm going to move on to games then. So I'm going to bundle two together here just for different reasons, but you'll see why in a second. They're both Weeb games. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Remastered, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Tokyo Mirage Sessions. The reason I'm bundling these together is because I don't really have a lot to say at all. Shin Megami Tensei technically this didn't make the cutoff. I missed it on last episode, but I wanted to give it a special shout out because I dropped it. I don't normally drop games. This game, honestly, it's just very dull. There's not a lot of story to it. It's just trying to be dark and anime, and that's just depressing. And I mean, it was fine. I don't think it was bad. It was perfectly fine. The problem is I was 3 hours into the game and already feeling that, and it's a 40+ hour game. And I'm like, I ain't going to go on another Days Gone trip here. We've learned my lesson.
Good.
So I was like, you know what? We're going to drop this shit. Get out of here. I don't want to play you. So I mean, it's fine. I'm sure I end up trading it for a copy of Undertale. So hopefully that was a decent trade, and I like Undertale more. But I think it's a safer bet than this game. Not for me.
If it makes you feel better, Dustin personally recommended it to me after my love for Nier. So, hey.
Undertale or Shin Megami?
Yeah, Undertale.
Oh, okay, good. I can't wait for that.
So good stamp of approval.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dustin's the Weeb King, so I will trust the Weeb. And then Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Again, I don't really have a lot to say to this because I just started this. This is the Switch game I played after Phoenix, right? Which we'll talk about in a bit. I'm about 3 hours in. It's Diet Persona. I mean, I love Persona, so even Diet Persona, I'm going to chug it down. I'm enjoying it. It's fun, got nice music, catchy. It's fluffy, it's enjoyable. It's a lot better than what I was enjoying with Shin Megami Tensei 3. I'm playing it on Switch. My Switch games I play very slowly, so I'll have more to say when I'm like finished it or a good chunk into it. But yeah.
All right, Shin Megami Tensei. I have nothing to add. Look, just there's Persona. I don't think Shin Megami Tensei really fits a void unless you're one of the people who likes Dragon Quest and enjoys your old school JRPGs where you don't really need to pay attention except for the gameplay. Like, does that seem fair?
Oh yeah, 100%. The whole point of the game is like the dungeon crawling aspect of it. And I mean, it's stupid because it's really hard. Like it's known for being notoriously difficult. So they added in an easy mode. So it's like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to play on the easy mode because I don't want to deal with that shit in the JRPG. But the easy mode, it's so poorly balanced. Like, so first of all, the easy mode is laughably easy. Like you just click A attack and it's over. But which I wouldn't even care about that so much. The problem is they balanced it to the fact where you get less random encounters, and the system to actually get the personas is so fucking random that you can't actually consistently get them. And because they balanced it so that there's no random encounters, you can't capture new personas. It's really bad balancing. So it just that threw me off a bit too.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I bought that on the Wii U because I told myself, hey, it's a Japanese game of a crossover of what you can consider two niche games on a dead console, and I can get a pre-order for the special edition. Stonks only go up there, so I bought it, played it for like an hour or two, and went, this is on the Wii U, and then stopped. I'm not even joking. Like, I played it for a little bit. I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I guess I can have another Persona right now. And then every single time I had to pick up the gamepad, I was like, I really don't want to do this. And then I just stopped and I packed it up and I put it there and I was like, ooh, in a couple of years, you're going to be worth a lot.
How'd that work out for you?
I mean, I'm still waiting.
I mean, to be fair, Wii U prices are going up. So I think you'll actually get some return on investment there. But yeah, basically everything you said is correct. I do the shout out to like the fucking opening half an hour, basically ripping off the leftovers, though. I thought that was pretty cool. So
God, I don't know how I don't remember that. When you said that, I was like, no, this is an alternate universe. You were like, they changed the Switch version. It's not Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it's Tokyo Mirage Sessions Royal or something. Like, they changed this. I swear that there wasn't any of that. Like, I need to, at that point, that was the moment where I was like, ugh. Am I gonna pull this out and play it after Twilight Princess? Like, am I gonna let my Wii U continue to suck power from my energy bill? And I'm just like, no, I'm going to pull it on Switch if I can. Like, no, I'm Wii U, you're being put down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, taken behind the shed, old Yeller style.
An axe, all right? It's gonna be an axe, and I'm just gonna be like, do I have your attention, Wii U?
Oh, now I want to watch Mr. Robot again.
Fucking Mr. Robot's a classic. All right. Okay. Shin Megami Tensei. Persona out of 10. Just go get Persona out of 10.
So I haven't finished Tokyo Mirage Sessions yet, and this is going to sound like shitting on it, but for both of these games, I'm going to give the score play Persona instead of 10.
Shit, actually, you're right. But my Shin Megami Tensei, no, sorry, my Tokyo Mirage Sessions score is going to be, hey, if you have a Wii U copy, just continue to sit on it, okay? It's going to be worth stonks at some point. Out of 10.
Out of 10. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bundle Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess HD together. Skyward Sword, I played it for like 5 minutes. Like, I got in and I was like, okay, this is Zelda. All right, let's get into this. This music's so good. And then I went, I have Majora's Mask on my 3DS. I still have Twilight Princess, like a save from like 5 years ago. I think I'm going to go finish Twilight Princess before I play Skyward Sword. So I had to go to the kitchen. I had to grab some water. I splashed it on my face. I went to go sit in a corner and cry for a little bit. And then I walked around into the theater room and I saw that the power cord was just slightly ejected from the Wii U, just so it would be easy for me to reconnect it, but still making sure that the Wii U isn't costing me any money to make sure that it stays powered on. I started looking for my Wii U gamepad and I was like, where the fuck did I put this thing? I looked for it. It was underneath my PS3, but it was behind my 4K player. So like there's a little tiny gap where it fits where it's safe from scratches, but also never in my sight. So the trial of getting the Wii U back to where it needs to be to play was just enough for me to be like, oh my God, I hope it's worth it. I hope it's worth it. It's not, but like Twilight Princess is still enjoyable. Like every time that I look at the Wii U, I just want to get angry. I just want to get so irrationally angry because I hate that console so much. Why the fuck are all the settings tied to the tablet? Why is it that if you lose the tablet, that console is just offline? That's it. You can't ever go to your settings. Whatever settings were there, that's it. You're locked. You're done. Good luck trying to get your computer to spoof the Wii U tablet because apparently it uses some weird connection where I don't even think it's radio or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or something. I have no idea how that connection it works. So emulating it is really difficult. So if you lose that gamepad, fucking dunzo. Like that's it. Whatever settings are there are locked in ether forever. I fucking hate the Wii U. But at least Twilight Princess is good. It's just nice to be back to a simple Zelda game. Well, simple because some of these puzzles are actually really good. There was a block puzzle that actually stumped me for a little bit. A puzzle where it's a grid system, and you have two guys that follow your moves, where one follows you and one does the opposite of you. You need to get them a certain spot. The actual puzzles are good. The boss fights are ridiculously epic. You're not doing anything crazy. It's just pretty much standard boss fights, but the way that they frame it and the music, how it plays, all of it just fits so well to give this one its identity. And that's the thing. This game is easily like this game. They looked at Shadow of the Colossus. Wait, does that timeline work? Yeah. Wait, no. That timeline works. They looked at Shadow of the Colossus and they looked at Lord of the Rings and went, yeah, let's do that because people are still bitching about Wind Waker. We're just going to give them everything that they want. Like, this is the apology game, and honestly, they just ripped off Ocarina of Time as well. Like, a lot of this is just like, we're going to do gritty Ocarina of Time mixed in with Lord of the Rings and Shadow of the Colossus. And it's really weird still, though, because Link is like a gorgeous looking character. Like, you just look at him like, this is perfect. You look at Midna and you're like, you look like a weird imp. That makes sense. This is fine. And then every other character is just a fucking mess of ugliness. It's hilarious to me because all of them just butt ugly. So you got this great art style, and then all of these people that look like they were living near the sewer and like it seeped into their children afterwards. Like, it's just such a mess, but every single one of these boss fights that I've done so far is just awesome because all of them have two phases. And the first phase you do and you're like, oh, really? That's it? Oh, that fucking sucked. Like, that boss fight sucked. And then the second phase is when the epicness happens. You're like, oh, this is where it gets special. And it's never anything too complicated like any other Zelda boss fight, but the way that they frame it and the music is just awesome. One of the boss fights that I did, oh, by the way, fucking Link has a Beyblade in this one. I forgot that was a thing. He has a fucking Beyblade, and at some point, basically, you start circling around this gigantic dome with the Beyblade, and you're jumping across trying to hit him. It's so ridiculous the way that they frame it. I love it so much. I stopped right before what I think is the last dungeon because the last dungeon, they give you a second claw shot. And I know this. I remember this because when they gave you a second claw shot, I lost my fucking mind because I was like, you just turned Link into Spider-Man. This is incredible. So I stopped there knowing that whenever I get back to it, I want to be able to be sure to do the dungeon in one shot. Anytime that I save in the middle of a dungeon, I come back. I'm like, shit, what was I supposed to do? So don't want to deal with that. I'm just waiting because I know I'm so excited because this is the boss fight that I remember the most when I played it on Wii when it was contemporary, because this one is so ridiculously epic because I think you're trapped in a cage and you're fighting a dragon and you have two claw shots. So you're basically trapped in a cage, Spider-Manning across this cage and killing a dragon. And it's fucking incredible. I can't wait to see it properly on my HD GameCube sound system and all that. I can't wait. Dorian, anything?
So I got a few thoughts. First of all, I'd like to defend the Wii U. It's a good console. Good games.
All right, marking 215 to cut all the way to 20.
That's as far as I'll go though on the defense for the Wii U. Second, I think it's actually funny how you say that because I'm not okay. I think Twilight Princess is a fine game, but there's issues I have with it, and I think a lot of the issues are me. You mentioned it's an apology for Wind Waker. I fucking loved Wind Waker. Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda game of all time. But you're right, it is an apology for Wind Waker to the fucking idiots that didn't like Wind Waker.
Correct.
And I felt it was fine. At that point, though, I was kind of falling out of love with Nintendo, which it's still kind of this day. I'm a bit more willing to appreciate what they do these days, somewhat. But yeah, for me, it was fine. It just felt like darker, grittier Ocarina of Time. And Ocarina of Time already, like, I think it's a good game, but to me, it fails in comparison to Majora's Mask. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of, you take Wind Waker, you don't get something similar to that, and not even something as good, in my opinion, as Majora's Mask, and it just kind of fell a little bit down for me. That being said, it is something I would definitely love to revisit. Because I'm in a better place with Nintendo at this point, I'm certainly not going to go out and buy a Wii U for it though, or a Wii. I will wait for a Switch port and pay my $70 to Nintendo so I can play it. Those are my thoughts.
The weird thing is that everything you said is nothing I disagree with. Yeah, it is just a ripoff of Ocarina. Yeah, Ocarina is the best. Majora's Mask is the best. Wind Waker is very good. Yes, it is. And yet something about Twilight Princess just clicks so well with me because I love the... Here's the thing. I think what I really love about Metal Gear Solid is it is a reinterpretation of American media through a Japanese filter, because that's pretty much what it is. Like, Kojima loves movies, so he's just reinterpreting that as how he sees them and then puts it in his game. Twilight Princess is just a Japanese filter of Lord of the Rings, mixing it in with what they know of Zelda and Shadow of the Colossus. So the reinterpretation thing is just something that I like. Like, even no, I can't even make that argument. Well, I'll throw it out anyways. Even Automata could be seen a little bit as a reinterpretation, because I'm really citing a video from obviously your favorite YouTuber, Super Bunny Hop, who did a video.
My boy.
He did a video about Automata and how he talked about how now that we got to the PS4 generation, we're out of the PS3 generation where the Japanese market just kind of catered. He was talking about how around the PS4 generations, when the Japanese market had gotten a bounce back since they can develop a little bit easier. So now they're in a spot where they are making games in Japan that are obviously being marketed for the West. So they're trying to figure out the things that appeal to a Western gamer through their lens. So I think I just really like whenever I can get a Japanese take on what they think we as Americans enjoy. So Twilight Princess is, I feel like, fits perfectly within that spot.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't argue with that at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I think that's all we got for these two, right?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, Skyward Sword. I'll get back to it at some point. Let me finish Twilight Princess out of 10. And Twilight Princess, still in process, but so far, Beyblade out of 10, let it rip.
Yeah, Skyward Sword's a game I've never liked for multitude of reasons, which we won't get into right now, but that's like a 5 out of 10 for me. Twilight Princess will probably be about a 6 out of 10.
Oh, I realized I didn't even mention my history with Skyward Sword. I tried it for 2 hours, and then I got hit with tutorials back to back to back, and I think I put it down, and when I came back, I tried talking to Fee, and Fee was like, "You need to do this." I'm like, "I did do that." And it's like, "No, you need to do this." I'm like, "I did." So honestly, with Fee and how much she handholds, I'm shocked that she didn't handhold me to figure out what to do next, and I was like, I give up. I stopped.
Yeah, that's fair. I would too.
Okay, yeah, you're up next on games.
Let's talk about here, let's do one I got a bit to say about. We'll bundle them together again. Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST. Yeah, to talk some Green Man shooting aliens.
Oh, Green Man shooty. I got my own Green Man shooty after.
Yes. Oh yeah, right. You're playing the Master Chief Collection too. So yeah, and I guess I'll bundle into Halo Infinite, the technical review, because I did play one game of that. But
you lucky bastard.
So yeah, Halo. So I actually played Halo 3 co-op for the first time. That was fun, really fun. I mean, here's the thing about Halo 3. I am so inherently biased with that game because I remember lining up for it at midnight with one of my best friends, who's still a good friend of mine, and getting the collector's edition, being so fucking excited for this game, getting home, playing this game, beating it in probably a day, and just adoring every second of it. I still love this game. It's still my favorite first-person shooter of all time. I mean, it plays so well. The story, in my opinion, in this game, which there is a story, I know, Ed, but the story in this game is 10 out of 10 tier to me. Like, it's just so well done. It just plays like a dream. It's Bungie at the top of their game with their shooting mechanics. And then I didn't even touch any of the multiplayer, but I just remember the hours and hours and hours I spent in Halo 3 multiplayer, just playing away. It's such a fantastic game and really a watermark first-person shooter game for me. And it's a genre I don't love. I say that a lot, which it's funny. We'll talk about Doom Eternal later, but I like that game too. But yeah, it's just if every game was more like Halo in terms of first person shooters, I think I'd be a lot more warm on that genre, because there's just something about those games, and it's probably just Bungie with fucking amazing shooting mechanics and their story and the music, which I'm going to talk about in a minute with ODST. But the music in these games, oh my god, Marty McDonald's amazing. So yeah, they're just phenomenal experiences.
As soon as you said Halo 3, what's been playing in my head is just the piano keys over and
Oh
over
my god.
again.
Dun,
Doo-doo,
dun, dun, dun.
doo-doo,
So
doo-doo,
fucking
doo-doo.
good. Ah,
It's so okay. There's two things that have been stuck in my head pretty much the last few days. It's those piano keys just over and over again since people have been playing Halo Infinite.
yeah.
It's that, and then another one where it's a meme where someone cut up pieces of Rick Astley and he says, "I'm about to say the N word," and then he actually says the N word. Those are the two things that have been stuck in my head for the last week or so, and I don't understand how this works for me.
Yeah, that's random. I was expecting something else Halo related, not that. But
Nope. Just piano keys and Rick Astley saying the N word.
no, that's yeah. The piano keys are amazing, though. I really do love them. Oh my god, I really do love them. But yeah, the funny thing is too, playing that game co-op, you don't lose a lot. Like it's so fun, and you still watch the story, and it adds to the experience because you just have one person playing as Master Chief, and one is the Arbiter. So
I feel like once I get done with Doom Eternal, I think I should keep going with Green Man Shooty Shoot. So I'm thinking once I beat that, which, well, we'll get to that later, but I'm thinking once I get done with that, I should probably boot up Halo 3 and start playing that now because it feels like it's still gameplay focused enough, and it's not like I know the story of Halo anyways, so it's not like
yeah,
anything's ever be really lost on me. I'm
no, I
very
I
excited
think
to
you'll
get to
enjoy it.
it because I know this is the one that everyone's like, Halo 3 saved my dog and saved me from drowning all at the same time and gave me $100 for my trouble. Like, Halo 3 is just something that I know I need to get to. I really do.
Yeah, I think you'll have a good experience with it. To me, it would be baffling, absolutely baffling, if somebody can like really appreciate the Halo 2 campaign and not at least find some enjoyment in Halo 3, because it just takes everything the Halo 2 does and kicks it up a little bit of a notch for me. And even if you don't end up enjoying it as much, it's you'll still enjoy it at least on the same level. It's just it's utter perfection in terms of first person shooters, or as close to perfection as you can get. It's just so well done. And that'll bridge me a little bit because I want to mention Halo 3 ODST now. I just started playing it today. This is my first time playing it.
Hmm.
So I don't have a ton to say on it yet. I will have more, hopefully next week when I finish it. I just want to say there's something you go on the streets of New Mombasa,
Hmm.
and you're kind of and you're discovering this mystery of what happened to your team because you're separated from the rest of your team, and you're kind of exploring and finding these clues. It's so anti-Halo, it's so weird to think about. And
Mhm.
while you're exploring these streets, you kind of got this music that's kind of going on the back of your head, and then the fucking saxophone kicks in, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's a religious experience, and I'm loving this game so far. It's so good. So good.
Halo Noir is something that I didn't realize that our souls needed. And then Lord O'Donnell went, "You do need it though. Here's some fucking ointment. It's a little bit of jazz. Just put it on you. It soothes you." And oh my god, it wasn't until like I think a couple of months ago that I heard what was it? I think Deference for Darkness is the one song that everyone
Yeah.
talks about. Hearing that shit, I was just like, "Oh my god. I need to go outside when it's raining. I need to light a cigarette and just smoke. I need to wear a trench coat and just sit out there and think about a dead wife or something." I don't know. Like I feel like I need to have the atmosphere to listen to this because if not, I'm disrespecting the song if I'm not in the right mood.
I'm a big jazz fan to begin with, but you're right. That song is great in particular. I've heard that one separate from the thing. And it blends it in so well. But yeah, Halo Noir is a good way to put it. Even the game, and then it kind of cuts into regular Halo. Like, you'll basically find your clue, and then, like, you kind of go to that experience and what happened with that clue. And then it kind of kicks into regular Halo, but it's such a cool, interesting mix of both of them. And it's definitely not what I was expecting out of a Halo game. It's very unique. I don't know if I like it as much as the original trilogy so far, but it's fucking cool. And like I said, that soundtrack is just amazing. Oh my god, it's so good.
Hell, the good thing is that since it's not skippable, but it's already set up to be a smaller experience, then that just means that fits perfectly.
Oh, exactly. That they were smart, right? Like if you're gonna do a side game, make it unique. Like there's no
Yeah.
reason you need to make Halo 3.5, and this is called Halo 3 ODST, but it's really, I mean, it doesn't feel like Halo 3. It feels like a different game, and I got to give them credit. Plus, they got really good actors for this. Nathan Fillion's in this voice acting. They've got Adam Baldwin. I mean, it's basically a Chuck reunion. It's good. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not what I was expecting, so that's really cool. And then just to cap it off, I did download. I was lucky enough to get into the Halo Infinite beta. Sorry, Ed. I played one match before jumping into ODST, and I actually do kind of want to play a bit more. It was really fun. Really, it felt like Halo 3, honestly, a little bit to me. Like it was really great. It was clean feeling. It was crisp. I mean, the only complaint I had was the map felt a little bit dull to me. Like, I don't know if there'll be, I'm sure there's going to be other maps and there'll be other ones that are a little bit more cool. This one just felt a little bit plain, but the actual gunplay itself felt really good. It was a stable, like at least 60 frames per second. Apparently it's 120. I can't tell the difference between 60 and 120. But it runs at 120 frames per second on Series X apparently. And yeah, it was a joy to play. And I definitely want to give it more of a shot.
Halo ODST is actually the first Halo game that I played the campaign for, but I don't think I was ready for it because by the time that I got in there, like the opening cutscene just throws you in, and keep in mind, I had no idea about anything Halo. Like pretty much at that point, the only Halo experience that I had was split screen Halo 2 in high school. Like that's it. And so going into ODST, it just like, hey, grab your helmets, move on. And like, I'm like, what is going on? And keep in mind, I had no impression of what Halo was. So with everyone what they talked about Halo, I always thought that it was way more Mass Effect than it was G.I. Joe. Like I always thought that it was kind of like very serious, grounded sci-fi. And then I remember playing Halo 1 and 2 and thinking, oh, wait, these are goofy. Like they're campy. These are fun. Like they're not really that hard hitting. So I was like, oh, okay. I know that now. I didn't know that then because I remember playing this like, where the fuck is the story? Like I don't know what's going on here. And eventually I didn't know how to play the game. I didn't understand strafing, so I was just playing this shit like it was Call of Duty. I was like, this like, I don't know, this isn't working. So I dropped it down to easy and just started mailing everything because it was hilarious to me to start hitting all the elites and going,
the mailing in Halo will never not be fun.
Exactly. So I just remember putting it down on easy, and then at some point I just dropped it and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to play Horde. By the way, the way that I was playing this was I was over at someone's house. They had a 360, and literally they only had ODST, no other games. So I was like, sure, why not? I'm bored. I'll try this. So that's my only experience.
Sense.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Halo 3 ODST is not the game you want to start with in the Halo universe.
Exactly. So I can't wait to get there, and that is mostly because of Deference of Darkness or Darkness of Deference. I don't know. I already fucked up the title. But just that one song was like, okay, I can't wait to get there because I need to hear this soothing jazz for my soul.
Yeah, I think you'll be in a different place now, and I actually think you're really going to like this game because it's cool. Like, I mean, if nothing else, you'll just play the music and drop it to easy and just jive on that, I think.
What? Ah!
Yeah, the music of elites dying to your melees.
Oh my god, I just hear the smooth jazz and just what?
So good, so good. But yeah, Halo, love them. They're great games. I'm excited for you to try ODST.
Halo Infinite, Poot gave me a key, and I thought it was going to work, but no, my actual Xbox Live account has to be the one that got chosen. So I downloaded, I tried to boot up, I signed in, it's like, hey, you're not on the list. I was like, no, I have the key. I'm in the list. I'm a good boy, damn it.
Yeah, I felt bad for you, honestly. That would have been... I mean, you would probably get more enjoyment out of it than I do it because you actually are more into multiplayer than I am, so that's sad. But if you register now, you could probably get in for the next set of flights. So
I already did.
There you go. Yeah, hopefully you're in the next set then.
All I know is that after I got really sad about that, I just started turning on Halo 2 and Halo 3, and I'm glad that since I haven't played in a while, it started putting me in very favorable lobbies, and I was fucking destroying. And I was like, oh, okay, this feels good at least. I was playing a Halo 2 map, and I had like 13 or 14 kills with just a sword, and it wasn't even a good map for the sword.
I mean, I hate to say it, but all the hardcore fans are probably playing Infinite right now, so you just got the scrubs you're playing with.
Fuck! That's probably true. You scrubs.
But at least it's noob farming season, so you got that going.
All my accomplishments gone.
Oh man, but yeah, so definitely enjoyed those games. I mean, I guess you're gonna jump right into Master Chief Collection after this, so I'll go and score things now, and then you can kick it over to your stuff. But Halo 3 is a 9 out of 10 game for me. It's like I said, it's a seminal classic. It's one of my top 15 games of all time for sure. I mean, everyone should experience it. And then yeah, I've finished ODST and obviously I'm finished beta, so I won't score them yet.
Okay, Halo 3 is gonna be I'm gonna get there out of 10, and please, for the love of God, figure out cross-platform co-op out of 10.
Oh my god, yeah.
Halo 3 ODST is gonna be a smooth jazz while beating up one of the elites out of 10. Halo Infinite test beta is going to be a bring down this wall, you cowards, out of 10.
I like it.
After this, no, I did not put the Master Chief Collection on this list. I feel like since I've talked about Halo 2 enough that everything that I've said about multiplayer-wise, I don't think there's anything else I need to say. It was the other Green Man that I have on this list. Doom Eternal.
Oh, we got a crossover. Let's go.
Oh, all right. So Doom Eternal, I think the last time I played it, it soft locked on me. No, hold on. Was it? No. No. I think it was within the last 2 weeks. So still within the recording for this episode. Doom Eternal, I was playing it. I was enjoying ripping and tearing, whipping and tearing. And then at some point it soft locked on me. And I died. I came back and a door that should have opened didn't open. I tried turning off the console. I tried booting back in, and basically my save locked that door, and I would have to restart the level. And I just dropped it and went, yeah, I can't do this right now. I don't want to redo this level. I lost about an hour of progress, and I don't think I'm in the mood to redo it. And that's actually what sent me spiraling to not figure out what I wanted to play, which had me starting Skyward Sword, and then eventually led me to the horrific endpoint, which was playing my Wii U. So, Doom Eternal, thank you. You actually literally sent me to hell. Wii U.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. But within the last few days, I was looking at just my games, and I was like, you know what? I want to play something for an hour. I don't think there's anything I can do. That last dungeon in Twilight Princess is probably going to take me longer than that. Majora's Mask, I have no idea how long it's going to take me for me to get to the next point that I could, get a good stopping point to. I guess a level of Doom Eternal is in order, and I don't know what it was. I think it's because the last time that I played Doom Eternal, I played it in such like close bursts that I wasn't really letting the, I guess, muscle memory kick in. But man, when I picked up Doom Eternal this time, I was just fucking killing it. Like, I'm still on hard difficulty, but I found it so much more easier to rip and tear this time. And it was so weird to me because, like, this feels like I should bump up the difficulty again. Like, I think my brain just clicked into how to play this properly. I'm thinking, no. Don't bump up the difficulty. The game is just going to get harder. Just let it keep going. But man, it felt really weird that I just understood it better.
Yeah, I'm here with you. So I finished Doom Eternal with same as Ed. Or you haven't finished it yet, but yeah, I finished it.
Correct.
I'm playing it though, same as you. And I gotta say, so I played it on normal. I'm not as big of a god gamer as you, especially when it comes to first person shooters. So I'm like, nah, we're just gonna do it normal. Plus, I hear how hard this game is, and not only that, plus Doom 2016, I played on normal, and I really struggled with it on normal. Now, I did finish it eventually on normal. I forced myself to, but I had a hard ass time with that game. Doom Eternal, I honestly didn't have nearly as hard of a problem with you. I'm with you there. Once it kind of clicks, the game sort of just clicks. And I feel like it's very smartly designed in the fact that there's always resources for you. Like if you're ever dying, you just go chainsaw guy, get some ammo, get some health, and you fucking dash and survive. And you can continue to cycle and do that. And if you're smart, you really you're never in fear of death as long as you continue to do that. And it's smart. It's so well made. It's just completely fluid. I'm playing. Are you playing on the 60 FPS ray tracing mode?
No, gotta get that 120.
No, you're doing the 120 hertz, 120 FPS. Okay, all right. So there's a difference between us.
I'm
playing on the
moving so fast that I don't need to see reflections, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm doing the 60 FPS ray tracing, but it's great on there. It's a fucking rock solid 60 frames per second. And yeah, the game's just, oh my god, it was such a fun game, especially for, again, someone who's not a big first person shooter guy. But when they nail it, man. The music in this game, the soundtracks, the heavy metal, it makes you want to rip and tear, man. Like it's so great. And then now you haven't gotten to the Marauder yet, right?
Correct. I think that might be my next play session. Also, speaking about sound design, the fucking ballista, whenever I shoot that thing, my subwoofer is like, oh, you want me to work today, don't you? And I'm like, oh.
The gun sounds in that game are so good. Like they got the right oomph to them. And that ballista specifically is fantastic. But yeah, no, like everybody I remember it being a big thing. Like, oh, wait till you get to the Marauder. Wait till you get to the Marauder. You're gonna hate your life when you get to the Marauder. Now again, I'm playing on normal. I beat him first try. And the Marauder, if you know what you're doing and you're smart about it, it's not that bad. There's an enemy later on that basically acts as like a fucking totem and just starts buffing all of the other demons around you.
Oh my god.
He's a fucking asshole, that enemy. He is the hardest enemy by far in that game to me. He's worse than the fucking Marauders. I don't know why nobody talks about him. But the fucking Marauders themselves, like, they're really cool, don't get me wrong, but I didn't even have that big of an issue with them. So yeah, it's a smart, really, it's just, they took 2016 and they're like, how can we evolve this formula? Because they could have just made 2016 part 2 and people would have been real fucking happy with that.
Yep.
But they actually took it and made it feel better in every way, to the point where if I tried to go back and play 2016 now, I don't think I'd like that game.
Yes, I agree. Honestly, every time that I think about the flow and the dance of Doom Eternal, I think of the cover. And if you can just reenact that cover every single time that you're playing the game, you're going to succeed.
Well, actually, I'm thinking of the Steelbook cover, but yeah, no. I think I know.
The Steelbook cover is gorgeous.
Steelbook is fucking beautiful, man. I love that Steelbook. That's a great Steelbook.
No, but just the standard cover where the Doomslayer is like in mid-stride and shooting a demon. Like, if you can reenact basically that in the middle of every single encounter, you're going to do great.
Well, and it's so funny too, because everybody did describe it before I played it as you have to do the dance. It's like, fuck, I hate that term. That sounds so stupid. But then you actually play and you're like, okay, yeah, there is a dance. It makes sense, because you're dashing around, you're dancing, you're basically, it's almost like you're following the rhythm of the fucking heavy metal music and just kind of skipping around as you go. And it's so smart because the game teaches you, like, if you stand still for a second in that game, you're going to die. Like, in every one of my deaths, not one of them felt unfair. It was like, okay, I fucked up. I stood still. Like, I did this wrong. This is my fault. I'm dead. And I love that, because I'll talk about a game in a minute called Psychonauts. There were so many deaths in that game that were fucking bullshit, and that actually pissed me off. And that's the type of shit that makes me want to smash my controller against the wall. But in something like Doom Eternal, when you're like, oh man, I'm fucking stupid. Why did I do that? I appreciate that.
You are the ballerina of death in Doom Eternal, and God, is just Swan Lake gonna kick so much ass this year.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I got for Doom. Just it's still the same score. It's rip and tear out of 10, and that soft lock really hurt out of 10.
I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10, and that's actually good enough for 4th place on my 2020 list. So I expect them on the reprints to add that to the box art. Addy Hollick's 4th place of 2020 Doom Eternal.
Well, the problem is that they're never going to reprint it since they got bought by Xbox, and as we know, Doom
Xbox has no games.
Exactly. So
I'm very sad that the Doom franchise is dead.
Yeah. Rest in peace. I'm so sorry that Marty Stratton got fired. Oh man, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
They didn't have to execute him afterwards, but hey. All right. That's all I got for games. We're driving from here.
Oh boy. Okay. So there's a couple I want to talk about in depth, but we'll do these first. So Psychonauts. I'll actually jump into Psychonauts. I mentioned it. Psychonauts, very dated feeling game. It's good. It's not great. There are plenty of issues with it. The controls are really bad. When I die in a game and it's my fault, I'm not mad at it. So Returnal was another great instance. Like, I died a lot in Returnal. It's a hard game for me. I did rage uninstall it once, but again, it was my fault. So I kind of understood it. Psychonauts, it's so clunky to control that it's really not your fault a lot of the times, and you're still dying. You're like, well, this is bullshit. This is unfair. And it all comes to a head in the last level. If you can find one person that enjoys that last level called the Meat Circus, then Godspeed, because they are a fucking bigger fanboy than I am for anything. That level is one of the worst designed fucking levels in a video game ever. And that's maybe unfair because maybe it's not the level itself, but the level just could not work with the fucking controls they were given. It's awful. You have to be absolutely pinpoint accurate on every single movement of that controller or you fucking die. Fuck that level. All that aside, the actual characters, the story, the world building, that stuff is all pretty cool. I really like the universe. There's a level that's very famous in this game called the Milkman Conspiracy. It's fucking hilarious, and it's actually the best part of the game by far for me. I love Tim Schafer. I think his humor's bang on. I am still going to try Psychonauts 2 because I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that the controls are going to be fucking better in this game and updated. But yeah, for me, this game was it just felt very old.
There's nothing I can add here because Psychonauts is literally just one of those names that I go, yes, that's a video game. And then my brain just stops from there.
Yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up. Not a ton to say on that game. Good, not great. 6 out of 10.
I heard Tim Schafer's a good man out of 10.
I do like Tim Schafer. Next up, Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. So Phoenix Wright I like a lot. The first game was good, close to really good. I just had some issues with it. A couple of the cases were a little bit weaker for me. A bit of background, Phoenix Wright is basically a trilogy of games, although there's a bunch of them now. But it was originally a trilogy of games for the DS, where you basically play as a lawyer who shouts objection, and you get to win cases and get bad guys in jail and stuff. And it's very fun, murder mystery, super fun visual novel. So they're all three of them are on Switch. It's a really good Switch game. So I finished Justice for All, which is the second game, and actually I enjoyed it a lot more than the first game. I think it's really banging. They're funny. Like the games are genuinely funny, and it takes a lot for me to actually laugh out loud in the games. But there were some moments in this one that had me fucking giggling like a hyena. Good shit. The story in this game was great. Like the last case was probably the weakest for me, but up until that point, it was good. Like I was enjoying every case. They had really cool mysteries in them. I like the results in them. The overarching, there's always like one overarching story that kind of stretches across the entire, between all the cases. And this one was really cool in this game. And yeah, the characters were really good. It was just, I really enjoyed it.
I always look at this game and I keep thinking, my 3DS is right there. I should probably play them at some point. But then again, every time I look at my 3DS, I'm just like, but I'm home. I don't know if I want to play you. And literally the only thing that's convinced me to play a handheld is pretty much Zelda right now. So like I look at it and I'm like, I know that I should play it and I just never get around to it. Maybe whenever this hellscape ends and then my hellscape begins, if I ever end up going back to the office, that's probably when I'll play it and I'll be so fucking miserable that I might need something to make me laugh, because if not, I'll just probably cry endlessly whenever I have to go back into the office. So this is one where it's like, this is super off to the distance whenever I end up playing it, because for the most part, like I just missed out everything on DS and 3DS that there's a lot of games I probably need to check out that were on there, and Phoenix Wright is absolutely one of them. Yes, I know I could play them on the other consoles. If a game was designed with a DS in mind, I feel like I want to play it there.
Yeah, that's totally fair, and it definitely was designed with the DS in mind, although they do port it nicely to the Switch. It's interesting, though, because it's kind of frustrating. So I'll finish Phoenix Wright. I'm going to start, after Tokyo Mirage sessions, I'm going to do Phoenix Wright 3. And then they just released the Great Ace Chronicles, which I bought for Switch, which is another 2 Phoenix Wright spin-off games. But there's like another 3 or 4, I think, in like the main storyline, but those are basically locked to 3DS. So, and I mean, eventually they might end up porting them out, but yeah, right now I would have no way to play them because I don't have a fucking 3DS, and good luck getting a fucking 3DS right now.
Yeah.
They're fucking impossible to find. So it'll suck because there'll be a point where I'll be like, well, I'm fucked. I can't play any more of these games. And it's too bad because I enjoy the series.
Have they been in danger of falling a little bit too samey, or do you think that you're parsing them out enough that it's not a problem, or do you even think that if you back-to-back them, it'd be fine?
No, if I back-to-back them, I'd fucking hate my life. No, they definitely do feel very similar to me but it's perfect for me though, because I play my Switch like an hour or two a night. So I don't play it that often. So it's a very slow pace for me with my Switch. I just started Tokyo Mirage Session. That's like a 30 to 40 hour game. So I think by the time I
It's
actually
that short?
yeah, it's not a long one, Tokyo Mirage Session. It's not super long, but I'll play it at a slow pace. So by the time I actually get to Phoenix Wright 3, I think I'll be fine. And then once I start the Great Ace Attorney, those are actually in 3D and added a lot of new changes. So I think I'll actually start to see some of the changes, and that'll freshen up the formula a little bit. But if I would absolutely not, if I was like just doing 1 to 2 to 3 back to back to back, I think I'd hate my life.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, I'll probably end up keeping that in mind because I'm pretty sure I would immediately try to back them and be like, oh wait, this is the same game, just different cases. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
There's like a couple of small differences between 1 and 2. Like in 2, you can basically in 1 you could present evidence, right, and just be like, objection, here's this evidence, right, and there's like items you can use for evidence. In 2, they add the ability to actually like look at people's profiles and use the person themselves as evidence. So that was like a change, but besides that, there's no time.
Oh hell yeah, straw manning in a court case. I'm in.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed Phoenix Wright Justice for All. Fun visual novel game. I mean, it's not on the level of something like Danganronpa to me, which is like top tier visual novel, and even AI the Somnium Files, but this was really good. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
All right, I'm gonna give it I might need a recommendation for what the second best game in the series is, so I can play that one. So if I like it, I can then move on to the best one, and then probably just put it down until I itch for another entry out of 10.
That's a review. I like it. All right. And then saving the best for last, I have Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite, which are going to bundle together. Miss Daddy Levine. Back to Daddy Levine. I did finish Bioshock 1. I mean, Bioshock 1 is a masterpiece, and I'll circle back to it because I played the Infinite DLC for the first time. So trust me, we'll circle back to it.
I'm going to throw out my headphones as soon as you start talking about that because I'm still completely in the dark about all of that.
You've never played the DLC either.
Oh, that's the thing. I just was always cheap about buying DLC. Like, literally the only DLC that I bought that was like single player was, I don't know, maybe something for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and then Left Behind for The Last of Us. Like, I did not buy DLC, and I still really don't.
Edwin, you know me. I hate
DLC. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Trust me. You're going to be like, it's one of the fucking greatest things ever.
And here's the thing. The good thing is, too, you don't have to pay for it either. It's free.
I have it. Don't worry. I got it physically, too.
I will talk a little bit about that, but yeah, you can put your headphone down, and I'll be very brief with it. I won't go into detail, but that's good. Okay, thank you for warning me, though, because I would have just fucking said something. So I appreciate it.
I mean, I'm still going to edit anyway, so.
Perfect. Well, I will be less spoiler with it. Anyways, we'll start with Bioshock 2, worst for last. So the thing with Bioshock 2 is, here's the funny thing about it. This game isn't bad. It's not a bad game by any means. It's actually, I think it's pretty good. It's just, you take a game that was never meant to be made, you kind of make something that doesn't need to exist, but then you put really good gameplay and fun combat elements in it, and you get a good game out of it. It's just, you're following Bioshock.
Exactly.
You're following my second favorite game of all time. So, I mean, the game's perfectly fine. It's fun. And like I said, the combat might even be a little bit better than the original. I played them pretty close to back to back. And it's fun. Like, the plasmids are great in it. Like, it's a really good game for the most part. It just doesn't hit even close to the same highs as Bioshock 1 does for the story.
You haven't heard this. No one's heard this yet because the episode isn't live yet. But the episode that I did about the Before trilogy with Sam, I talked about Boyhood and how I think Boyhood was the movie I watched immediately after Whiplash. And Whiplash is my favorite movie of all time, so there was no chance that Boyhood was ever going to come out unscathed. And I think that's what Bioshock 2 is, where it's like, yeah, Bioshock 2, you probably have merit, but there's a 2 in your name. You're fucking up already from a baseline point.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And it's just, Ken Levine's not involved, and you definitely feel that. It's actually so exactly to the point I was saying with The Conjuring 2 and The Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It. You take James 1 out of the picture, you get, it's fine. It's just nothing spectacular. Same thing with Bioshock 2. You take one of the best gaming talents like Ken Levine out of the picture, you get that. And it's not bad. It's not a bad game at all. It's just, you can't even come close to living up to that potential. And it's unfortunate because, you know, you could have had one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Now, you've still got 2 of the best games of all time, in my opinion. but you're missing that third one because of Bioshock 2.
Oh, well, it's okay. We still have the Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
It's trilogy, no matter how you want to cut it.
Yes. So yeah, Bioshock 2, good game, not great. It's a 6.5 out of 10 for me.
All right. Well, from here, Bioshock 2 for me is I tried playing Prey and I went, oh, wait, I should probably go play Bioshock 2 instead. And then I remember even back then when I tried to play Bioshock 2, I went, oh, man, I just played Bioshock 1. I don't want to do this out of 10.
It's like it's a time loop. You just keep going back to it.
Exactly.
Cycle. But Bioshock Infinite now. Oh my God. Bioshock Infinite. Oh my God. There are very few games that can just, you kind of get it and you start a game and from the very opening seconds you're captivated.
Yep.
Bioshock did it and Bioshock Infinite does it. And here's the biggest negative I have about Bioshock Infinite. Are you ready for it? The biggest fucking negative I had about this game is I guess I don't like Columbia quite as much as I like Rapture. And I fucking love Columbia. That's my biggest knock on this game. But the opening, when you're fucking going up the tower and you make it to Columbia for the first time, and you got the fucking barbershop quartet singing to you. Oh my fucking God, Mr. Levine, just take my money and make a new game already.
Daddy
so
Levine,
good.
I know you're listening. I know you're the biggest fan of Passive Pixels. Get us codes, please.
Oh my God, I can't wait for whatever he's working on. But yeah, Infinite's a fucking masterpiece, man. Like from the moment the game starts until the conclusion, and I do think this game ends stronger than 1, 2. It's just an absolute masterpiece along the way. The gameplay is great. I mean, one minor quibble I have is I feel like some of the plasmids aren't as cool in this game as they were in the first one, and there's not as many of them. But the ones that they have in there are very effective. I mean, apparently this was supposed to originally have some immersive sim elements in it, and those got cut, which Ken Levine wasn't too happy about. I mean, you can definitely feel that in some places, but man, the game is so good. The story is so intelligent. The story is so much more intelligent than you would think. Like, it's just something that you don't normally see in the medium of video games, and it's like a Kojima. It's like he's fucking doing this smart social commentary on shit, and he's putting it in a fucking video game that's amazing. And the world needs more people like Ken Levine, honestly, making games. They really do.
Bioshock Infinite is such a classic. I just remember playing that game and I just feel always so bad for it because it's like, man, Bioshock Infinite is a landmark. The Last of Us came out in the same year. It's always just so painful to me to look at Infinite and be like, man, I'm so sorry that you're always going to have as a little asterisk to your name when people look at 2013. It's like, Bioshock Infinite, how is it that you didn't? Oh.
Yeah.
Like it's easily, once again, my citation point that I always keep using, Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones at the Emmys.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate. Like you've literally got my first favorite game of all time in The Last of Us. And then Infinite's like my 6th or my 7th. Like it's so unfair. And those both came out in the same year. Any other year, that game is a fucking shoo-in for my game of the year. Almost any other year. But then here's fucking Last of Us to fucking steamroll everything.
Saunters in just like, y'all want to see me upgrade the fucking narrative of video games?
It's so unfair because Infinite is just so spectacular in every single goddamn way. What a beautiful game. And okay, so I'm gonna mention a bit about the DLC. So
wait. One thing I want to say, Songbird is so fucking cool.
Oh my God, yes. Talk about Songbird. Songbird is fucking fantastic. So good.
After I beat the game, I really wanted a Songbird plushie, but at that point, I didn't really have the money for it, and then I let it go. I know that at this point, I've cooled on Infinite where, like, I don't feel as passionate about it, but I know it's just as good. I'm pretty sure when I replay it, I'm going to be as fervent as I was back then, and at that point, I'll be like, why didn't I get the Songbird plushie?
Oh my God. It's so... And the funny thing is, too, I remember playing that when I was a kid. Well, not kid, but younger. I guess I was a kid. Close to a kid. But I remember playing it, and I'm just being like, man, I wish I could fucking use Songbird, and then you get to fucking use Songbird at the end. You finally get to do it.
This game is so good.
It's a masterpiece. It really is. It's so good.
Okay, I was about to say Halo Infinite. Bioshock Infinite is fuck it. That's gonna be the score. Halo out of 10. It's just Halo is good. Infinite is good. Bioshock's good. Halo out of 10.
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. So,
Go to the DLC.
yes, I'm gonna mention the DLC quick. Again, I'm gonna give pity to you because I don't want to spoil anything for you. You need to go into this unspoiled. So all I'm gonna say is this very simply. The fact that they managed to take this game and then you play Infinite, and when you get to the end of the game, you kind of scratch the surface of like, okay, and by the way, we're going full spoilers now, people. But you kind of scratch the surface of, okay, there's all these different lighthouses in the universe, and every lighthouse is different, and then you kind of end up in this one lighthouse that's Rapture. But then they take the DLC and you kind of go back to Rapture, and you kind of get to experience some things that tie everything together in one pretty little bow. And it's like, holy fuck, did he plan this from the beginning? Because Mr. Levine, if you plan this from the very beginning of Bioshock, from the very first fucking scene, and you end Infinite like that, you are a fucking genius. Like, I already think you're a genius, but you are next level genius because that is some crazy smart shit. So, I mean, I can't believe it took me this long to play the DLC. I hate DLC. And not even because of the money factor. Just when I finish a game, I want to move on. I don't want to go
Yep.
back to it. But man, I mean, I waited, what, 4, 5, 8 years. I waited 8 years to do it. We finally did it. And man, those 8 years were worth it because that was an experience and something that, I mean, you should experience if you're a fan of Bioshock Infinite or especially the first Bioshock. So yeah, that was definitely really cool. And just to finally be able to kind of put a bow on that. And I'll tell you this, it made me even more just say, 2K, I don't want your new Bioshock game, please.
Yep.
Please. Open world Bioshock, please. No. No. No, God, no. Michael Scott, no.
I want you to know that they heard that and went, oh, so 2 of them, right?
Yeah, probably. DLC too, and fucking season pass. Play as the Big Daddy and the season pass.
Pre-order and get a Songbird skin as a tattoo in the multiplayer suite.
I want to die. But yeah, it's like I already didn't want it, but then I finished the Infinite DLC. I'm like, no, this is perfect. It ended on such a beautiful note. Do not touch this. You do not have Ken Levine making this game.
And they're still going to touch it anyways.
Yeah, they hate me. So, but Mr. Levine, whatever you're working on, you're not going to hear this. But for God's sakes, man, please, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
Just know that the video game industry hates all of us.
Yes, they do.
Okay. I really have nothing to add because honestly, I didn't buy the DLC initially. When I saw the collection for $20 on Black Friday, like 6 or 7 years ago, I went, yeah, perfect. I'll do that. And I got it on PS4 and I sat on it and I just went, I still need to play Bioshock 2. I still got to play the DLC. And then we fast forwarded now. And I've been saying this shit over and over and over again. And hell, it probably doesn't help that I'm going to try the copy of Prey that I got you for like because like I'm looking at Prey now. I'm like, you know what? I haven't thought about Bioshock in a while. This might be the best chance that Prey has to impress me again. So
yeah, I'm going to be interested to hear your thoughts on. I'm right there with you, man. The problem is Preys are a really hard game to get into. Like I'm right there with you because where you stop is kind of honestly where I was at that point in the game. I'm like, man, do I want to keep going with this? Like, is this going to be a draw for me? Because it takes a long time to kind of rear up and get going, and then it just kind of dumps the entire game at you at once, and it doesn't really give you much direction. You kind of got to figure things for yourself out, which is not really the best way I think they could have done that, but then it gets really good. So it does take
in other words, it's probably going to end up the exact same way, except this time I actually jump over to Bioshock 2.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're probably going to be going to Bioshock
2. Bioshock Infinite DLC is I was poor then out of 10. I was poor then, and then I finally got money and got it, and I still haven't played it, but I'll get there eventually out of 10.
Believe it or not, I don't score DLC, so I won't subject your ears to that. I will say that it's, please, for the love of God, Ken Levine, sabotage 2K servers so they don't release that Bioshock and release your game soon, so I can experience more of your absolutely fantastic narrative design out of 10.
Would you classify it as essential for Bioshock?
The DLC?
Yes.
If you're a fan of the first game, yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take that as essential. Good enough for me.
And I know that sounds weird, but I actually have a friend who fucking I know he's a friend. He hates Bioshock 1, which I don't understand, but he fucking loves Infinite. I will never understand this man and his taste. But the reason I say that specifically is the DLC doesn't really cater more towards Infinite. It does cater more towards part 1. So, I mean, if you somehow are like my friend, shout out to you, you dumbass. But if you're like him and you just, and you don't like part 1, then I could see maybe the DLC not really hitting the right chord for you. But if you're like the normal people out there and you like part 1 and you like Infinite, then the DLC is a rare case of being absolutely essential. Yes.
I need to Google something. Are crucifixions allowed in Canada?
Yeah, if they are, join me.
They're not. They are not. Apparently, it's saying that with COVID restrictions, they've pulled back on it. What a shame.
I mean, if we did it and apologized and said sorry, we could probably get away with it.
You're right. You know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it off online.
Yeah, figure it off offline.
Okay. Was that it? Was that the list?
I think so. I'm done. I'm clean.
Oh my god, we even got a fucking special episode snuck in here, and it's a normal runtime. Perfect.
I know. I'm happy with that. GG.
Shit. End card. There we go.
End card.
Hey, look at you. You got to the end of the episode. From episode 0 to the day that I finally get lazy and cancel the show. A big thank you to Joey Rawlings for providing the perfect name for the show. Be sure to always give him thanks, either out loud as you're listening to this, or you can just send him a thank you tweet at boogeyman117_. That's boogeyman117, IE instead of Y, double O. Be sure that it's an underscore, not a dash, 117.
I'm cutting that out.
Don't die.
I hope so.